Hello, my name is Kafui Dey. My guest is four-time Grammy-nominated Afro roots musician and activist from Ghana, Rocky Dawuni. And we're recording this at Cactus Creek Hotel in Iburi.
Is it the luxurious rooms? Or the serene green surroundings? Is it the tempting swimming pool? Or the classy conference room? Or the cute gift shop? Maybe it's our chef's array of cooking delights. Whichever way, it's all about Cactus Creek. A most respected hotel. 055 039 5007.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video so the algorithm works on our side and gives you more content like this. And now to my guest, Rocky.
Yes.
How be things?
Charlie, it is cool. Oh, how you be?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good
Awesome.
to see you. Good to see you.
There's a new single out.
Yes.
We will talk about that.
Yes. Yes.
But let's go to the beginning, man.
Yes. Yes.
I want to explore your earliest memories as a person, as a human being.
Yes.
What do you remember from way back?
You know, I mean, first of all, I was born in Michel Camp, which is a military barracks
In Accra.
in Accra. It was considered Tema because
It's
proximity with Tema.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from a very early age, I remember, my parents at that time too, the Ghana military was very involved in peacekeeping missions in the Middle East. So they traveled to Israel, Egypt, and then come back. And it was also during the time when Jerry Rawlings, during the era of Jerry Rawlings. So the military was in power. So it was an environment of a lot of politics. At the same time, politics and then global diplomacy, because most of the soldiers were part of the peacekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
So you were having these conversations everywhere you turn around, in the barracks. And at the same time too, there was a lot of great music that was coming into the barracks, because the soldiers, when they travel, a lot of them, they coming back, they either buy like a corn mill, this way, like assets.
Yeah.
And then there were ones too who just bought new music, records, so the barracks was always transformed. Anytime the soldiers came back, it was transformed into like this whole ecosystem of amazing, great sounds, music, politics, and just also a cultural integrated space too, because you were dealing with like a lot of kids from different tribes. And so I was learning so many languages. I was speaking like from Ga to, Fanti, Chi. I was really very proficient in Chi, Hausa, because these were like kind of the diversity of the military barracks. So this was the ecosystem in which I started discovering my voice as a musician, so it was a very kind of sophisticated intent on also articulating things that were global because of the soldiers' constant conversations about global issues, a political type of viewpoint because the Ghana military at that time were directly involved in the affairs of the nation, a sense of, shall I say, cultural diversity as part of my worldview, because I grew up not knowing one tribe, whether it's northern tribe, southern tribe, and that kind of stuff. It was just we kids one people who were growing up, and I could speak the languages and all of that. And then, in addition to that too, there was a lot of cultural exchange, because cultural and religious exchange, because some of the soldiers were Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists. So all of a sudden I was being exposed to all of these. This was all in a very small ecosystem. So
Michelle Camp.
in Michelle Camp, in the camp. So I developed kind of a very unique type of sensibility to world affairs. And then once I discovered that music was also my means for which I wanted to articulate those worldview, then I was heavily informed by these inspirations that became kind of the mode of the cornerstone of the mission that I carry through my music.
Did you go to school in the camp?
Yes, I was.
Was a school in the camp?
So from the earliest point, I went to Services Primary.
Burma camp.
Actually, there was one in Burma Camp and the one in Michelle Camp.
So
The Burma Camp one was first.
Okay.
Then the Michelle Camp one. So I was part of the Michelle Camp ones.
All
Yeah.
right.
And I remember my older brother, the chief of Bumbo currently, was one of the first years. They were the first group of Michelle Camp, what's it called, Services Primary.
All right.
So I was following like 2 years later.
Okay.
With and it was great.
What was primary school like, man?
Primary school, Charlie. Primary school was interesting. We had some serious teachers who actually I felt that they were instrumental in also shaping me.
Really? How?
They were, first of all, the head mistress was this really forward-thinking woman. She had stayed, she was also very well traveled. And so her approach to education too was one of constantly being close to the students, engaging the students.
She was a
and
Ghanaian.
then, and then the teachers too were also very, she picked some of the best, insightful, great teachers. So every subject that we had, you had these personalities that you were not only drawn to what they taught you, but you were also drawn to their persona. So there was a lot of friendship between and kind of connection between we the students and then the teachers. They were firm when you went across the line. But at the same time too, they left such a indelible impression of a love for education. And I remember that it was even at Services Primary, we had a cultural group.
Okay.
So the cultural group was playing all types of sounds and music from different parts of the, from Ghana. You had I was learning dances from the northern region, styles from Volta region, and also fusing the indigenous music too. And this were being taught kind of by people who understood music. So the foundation for me was music, traditional music, great mentorship, kind of a very engaged, educational system. And so I felt that it gave me a very solid foundation. And then it really helped also my educational progress wherever I went beyond Services Primary. I mean, I came out, I remember during the common entrance, I was one of the top students.
Nice. What was your favorite subject in primary school?
Oh, yeah.
What subject did you like the most?
The subject. I remember I loved geography.
Okay.
At that time, just because geography, I was so interested in the world. And I was interested in the stories of the world. I remember one time, I think in our book, there was all these pictures about Eskimos.
Okay.
And Greenland,
yes.
And Iceland. And I was so enamored because some of the photos, an igloo, it was so remotely different. But at the same time, I romanticized about one day, being able to kind of go to these places. And I remember, and it came to happen.
Have you played Iceland?
I played Iceland.
Oh, nice.
And I've also played Greenland.
Your geography book is coming alive.
It's come alive, And even the Greenland one was even much more, I was really the first reggae and African artist to be invited to play there. So imagine going to this country, landing at the airport, and everybody's at the airport. Literally, it was like, I always say that was my Beatles moment, getting to the airport and everybody's there. And then, they hosted me, I traveled all around, went into a lot of the fjords, and this stuff that I'd read in geography.
It's all coming alive.
Did
you see any igloos?
You say?
Did you see any igloos?
Yeah. So igloos. And then what made, we saw the icebergs. These were thousands of years old icebergs. So they took one of their traditional should I say, rituals was that when they welcome, a stranger, they crack some of these icebergs. That was, some of them were like 10,000 years old.
Far older than
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah. And then they put it, and then they put a drink like an alcohol,
wow.
the traditional alcohol in there. And then the oxygen that's coming out is 10,000 years old. So you are drinking something being infused by, so the whole process of
symbolism is just crazy.
Exactly. So this is this all goes back to like, the years that I was growing up, like it was this romanticization that eventually became a reality.
I mean, just to think that you love geography, and then at some point in time, many years after, you actually visit the places.
Yes.
About.
And then when I traveled as a musician too, I was very keen on, first of all, the history. Everywhere I went, the history, the geography, the food, and then also the local culture. So it became it added another dimension to kind of the quest to spread my music.
Yeah.
I was also kind of constantly like a messenger of understanding, because I felt that also being able to have a deeper understanding of cultures also equipped you with the right tools to be a better conduit for communication and also mutually inspirational worldviews.
Indeed.
So it really, and I can dial it all back to the primary school experience. That's where all of these kind of teachers and people that were part of kind of helping formulate my persona with the musical mindset, educational mindset, gave me those tools to eventually be able to engage the world in a much more great way. Yeah.
It's fascinating. So geography you liked. What didn't you like? What subjects didn't you like in primary school?
At first, it was kind of like math.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I did not like it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that I was a little impatient for math. Math required, I had like the brain of, I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be free. I wanted music, geography, you know what I mean? It's all of that.
It's more exciting.
Math meant sitting down and kind of looking at things and being very, so it was a very tough thing for me during those times, because I was kind of not a kid that wanted to sit down. I was always like, I had the energy. I wanted to move, but at a certain point, I kind of really started appreciating that. And then, really did very well in that, So, it was not that I didn't like it. It was just that I felt that I was more likely, I gravitated towards the subjects that I felt excited me. Yeah.
Did you do any extracurricular activities apart from schoolwork?
Well, at that time too, in the barracks, I was taking Taekwondo.
Oh.
Yeah.
So if I come at you, what are you doing?
I stopped at a certain level.
Like a belt? The colors?
Not even at a belt, because we started, we had like teachers that were training us, and we were taking lessons as part of the school. But then, I remember also, because we also had this man who most people probably know, W.O. Kwantebisa, who eventually was kind of like ran the Ghana ports, a military man, but he was also a martial arts guy. So W.O. Kwantebisa was also instrumental in starting the Taekwondo club in Michelle Camp.
Services.
Yeah, services, So we were all part of this. So after I left services, I literally kind of, that was relegated to the past. But I was always very intrigued by martial arts because of the disciplinary aspect. In addition to the growing up in the military, also the concept of, the discipline being the military, and growing up around soldiers, being brought up by soldiers, and being kind of had that mission-minded type of mentality, which stayed with me throughout my life. Yeah.
What was your dad like?
My dad was he was the coolest guy, as I would say. My dad was, my dad grew up in the traditional setting. He was the son of a traditional chief, and literally the last born. So he migrated from the northern region and came to the south because he wanted something different from the traditional home, and he also wanted to join the military, and when he came to joined the military, he also was part of the cooks. He learned like a military cook. So he was amazing. He started working with all the generals and officers, and all of that. So my dad started moving with that clique, although his rank was not a general. So we were kind of, to some extent, hanging out with the kids of
the generals.
Of the generals and officers. And
what was your dad's rank?
My dad was sergeant.
Okay.
Yeah, was sergeant. And then he was also very interested, because he was also traveling with the UN forces. A lot of times, he went several times because he was always kind of a favorite of them. So
where did he go?
Mostly Lebanon, Egypt, and Israel.
To organize the Ghana food for him.
Yeah. Like worked with the soldiers. Yes. So a lot of times he will come back and but the military what's called cooks were also soldiers.
Yes, they were.
So it was like an aspect of the military. So we also, growing up, we were all interested in food. We're interested in like different, because my dad will come like different ideas.
What was his signature dish? What did he cook that is?
Everything. Yeah. Everything was incredible. Yeah. And my mom was an amazing cook. So we had like a household of like really incredible cooks, my father, my dad, But
was she also in the army, your mom? Was she also in the army, your mother?
No, my mom was not. No. Yeah, my mom was part of the, there was the wives of the military.
Yes. So did she travel with him when he went abroad?
No. Okay. They were in the barracks. They kept, the women kept the
house.
Yeah, together. The crazy little kids, all in check. The barracks kids were all like rowdy, like you're constantly trying to break out, of the barracks and be, so.
You too, you look like a chill guy now.
Oh my God, I was not chilled. I was very energetic, like even, my uncles, like a lot of them are very surprised, like when they see me, they're like, wow, you came out pretty well. What changed? You are pretty calm and chill now, but you were just like that fiery energy.
Fights?
Not fights, but just full of life and energy. I was constantly curious. I was constantly engaging people. I was constantly, and that was when I was finding my voice as a musician. So I was making up songs, making up music, singing.
How early?
Oh, the music came early. My earliest recollection of even speaking, I was attracted to music.
Okay.
Because music was something that, there was a kind of a natural predisposition to melodies. Anytime I heard a melody, there was something, it's kind of struck some chord in me. And then I was also able, in my quiet times, I could hear melodies. I could hear it around, so it was kind of like a very kind of spiritual thing for me, so I knew within me that this was a calling. And no matter what I did, it was like I could formulate songs from things, I could listen to the radio, hear a song, and all of a sudden I could dissect it into its components. So it was kind of a natural thing that I could do, and there was no effort. So it allowed me all of a sudden to feel confident about creating. So I was creating stuff even 7 years, and I was creating my own sounds, songs, and I'll make them up and I'll sing it to my friends and all of that. And a lot of times I'll tell them like, hey, I heard this song, like, check out if you like it. And it's like, hey, sing it for us. And then I'll sing it. And then I also loved movies at that time, so I'll go and watch movies.
What kind of movies were you watching then?
There was a lot of Indian movies that had soundtracks, because they were all kind of musical
stuff. They dance and
they dance, and so I loved those. So in Michelle Camp, you have like, we'll go to Ashama to go watch those movies where Ashama. So you go to Ashama and go watch like the latest kind of Indian movie. And then sometimes in the barracks too, on certain days, we'll have like, they'll have film days where everybody gathers at like the main kind of hall in the barracks, and everybody we had the films that we will watch, and it's just usually specialized films that they will bring to the barracks. So all of these were kind of part of me. I was interested in visuals, I was interested in storytelling, and then I will create like scenarios, storytelling scenarios, and then with music.
Almost like a video for your songs.
Yeah, I'm involved.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times I'm very involved in the videos.
Yeah, because you have this background.
Yeah, because I have a background of kind of
storytelling
and then visual.
Yeah. What kind of music were you listening to back then? While you're watching the Indian movies?
You know, the music was Highlife. There was a lot of Highlife. A lot of Highlife because my mom was a big fan of like Nanam Pedu, African Brothers, and you know, KK's, you know, and Kafui Dey, you know, what's it called, Safuhini Jani, like all of this stuff. That was kind of the type of music my mom listened to. So I was very close to my mom. So the music, and I was catching them, and I was catching stuff too on the radio. And then at the same time too, another style of music that I was getting was also the military band.
Yes.
Did a lot of covers.
Oh, okay.
So whenever the soldiers came back and they brought new records, they looked for the hottest songs that were out in Europe that even Ghanaians have not heard it, and then they rehearsed it and then they covered it. So there was a kind of a whole unique system there. So I love the military band because I could go there and then see at that time the leader was called Julius Mingle. Julius Mingle was like my first like hero icon that I wanted to kind of be like this guy because he was the leader of the band. He was charismatic. He was, you know, and then when I first started, you know, like a kid, I would sneak into that place. He was extremely nice to me. He just understood that, hey, this kid, and I was in the corner, you know, like kind of observing things.
Soaking the stuff.
So the military band was there. And then there was also all the soldiers who were like, they were not DJs, but they had the best music. So the soldiers who were, they say the guys, you know, so we a guy, the soldiers, but they're like the guys that everybody followed. They set the trend. So they would travel, and when they came back, they brought records, a lot of records. So I made sure I became friends with them.
Of course.
So a lot of times I will kind of go and hang out with them, and then they will have the records. So I'll be exposed to all of this latest stuff coming from the US, all of this kind of unique forms of music. There was a lot of reggae music coming in. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, all of that was all of there, including American pop. So this was kind of the music, in addition to the traditional music that I was learning in school, and then also all the cultural stuff, you know, the music. It was a vibrant
Nice
environment. So you had revolutionary music. Also, Fela was popular. In the barracks, soldiers love Fela until Zombie. Zombie was not.
That's a diss song.
Was not allowed.
That's a diss song.
Yeah.
Zombie song for
Zombie was with a disclaimer on the barracks. You know, so there was all of this. So I grew up within this environment.
It's a wonderful environment.
It was kind of powerfully infused, you know, with so much activity, you know, and even during the childhood days too, I was telling, you know, recently telling a friend that, you know, we lived through the Jerry Rawlings, the first attempted coup, and then the 79 coup, and then the trial and all of that kind of stuff. So imagine being a child, and during the first coup that he was on trial for, when 79 even happened, there was a situation in the 1st Battalion of Infantry where my father was situated, where the keys to the armory, you know, they were given an ultimatum to hand over the keys to the armory. Michel Camp had balked, but the government had been toppled by then by Jerry Rawlings and everybody, and so Michel Camp was put on alert to. There were threats of us being bombed if the keys to the armory were not handed. Did they hand them over the keys? Well, eventually the guy who was the other ranks had taken over from the general. So the other ranks went, and it was an officer, higher rank in the army, who had the key to the armory. And supposedly he had left. He was nowhere to be found. So the lower rank soldiers were able to eventually retrieve the keys, and then, you know, it was a kind of insurrection, lower ranks against upper ranks. So there was a kind of arrest of some of the top ranks of this by the lower ranks. So this was kind of like the situation in the barrack. It was testy.
How did it affect your father? 79.
My father was a soldier. He was, you know, he was a sergeant. He was not a higher rank like general type. So he was he was there in the higher ranks. The lower ranks were okay. but the thing was that we'll be there, and then the jets were flying over Michelle Camp, because, Rollins was a pilot, so there was a lot of they were flying there when the ultimatum was given. And then our mothers were telling us that we should be ready. There were all these gutters. So be ready to get into because if it doesn't come and the barracks is being bombed, they were telling us what to do.
Yes.
And all of that. You have to go into the gutter and all of that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And all of that. So this was, and I'm sure that not a lot of people had this kind of experience.
No, because you're right in the thick of it.
I was right in the thick of it, So then during, post that, lived through all of that in the military barracks. So I came out, kind of with a kind of different view of, kind of the reality of me as a Ghanaian, different view of revolutionary mindedness, but at the same time steeped in global diplomacy. Indeed. Because of the engagement of them, but with a fused dose of plural mindset because of the cultural education, and then with a very potent musical kind of foundation.
You were being armed for business.
I was just being armed for business.
So let's talk to us briefly about Mama, man. What was she like? What was Mommy like?
Mommy was special. You see, Mommy was like a magnet. Mommy was always the leader. She was like the Magajia of the women in the barracks. She was the leader of all of the women. So all of the women, she was elected as their leader. So my mom always had a leadership. My dad came from a royal, traditional chief's house. So he also had those kind of elements, although he tried to downplay it. But my mom was kind of, people gravitate to her. So even in the barracks, she was like the woman. And she had a shop too. So a lot of the soldiers, after work and stuff, they always came to hang out there.
What did she sell?
Everything, like provisions.
Okay, so provision shop.
Provision shop,
yes.
All stuff
essentials,
that was needed.
Milk, sugar, bread.
Yeah. And everybody called her Mma, mother.
Yes, mother.
So, and my mom too, her growing up to her dad too, was also part of the Ghanaian, soldiers, colonial soldiers that were taken to Burma.
Really?
Yes.
In the 40s?
Yes, my grandfather was in that war, was part of that.
Wow, the Burma campaign.
Yeah, the Burma campaign. Yeah, my grandfather, yes. So that's my mom's father.
Yes.
So my grandfather was part of, and then when my grandfather, the post-war, he came and he was a forestry man in the Brown-Halfa region. So my mom grew up in the Brown-Halfa region. So my mom had a lot of my mom could speak Bono and all of that stuff, in addition to the Konkomba and all of that. And then, and...
Did you meet your grandpa? Oh, did he ever share any war stories?
My grandpa, no, never. By the time I met him, he was very old. He spoke and all of that. And at that time too, I was too young to even understand the value. I just knew that they said, your grandpa went to Burma and all of that. But I wasn't equipped and educated enough to be able to get a lot of the information that I felt. And now that I even think about it, my uncle, who's also became one of the military, eventually became, a military guy, but is retired right now. I'm planning to talk to him about whatever he knows about grandpa's experience there. So these are like family of,
military.
On my mom's side, military, and then kind of traditional royalty, all of that. And then, but my mom could also speak a lot of languages. My mom could speak Ga, my mom, Chi, Fanti, and then Konkomba, Dagomba, so, and because she was also kind of a very kind of a central point, a lot of people gravitate towards her. The persona also kind of rubbed on me because I was very close to her, and she, my mom was, even till everybody, like our house, even when we moved from the barracks to New Jabin, all the students that I went to school with, everybody during holidays would come to my house because my mom would cook for everybody. So it was like our house had always been like a place of, and you come in, many of my mates were like, and even my older brother, when he was at Sectec, same thing. Our mates would come because my mom would always cook for us. So she was like a mother of many. She took care of all these students who had come to school but didn't have their parents there. But we had our house in Koforidua. They would always come, and my mom would take care of them and stuff. So she was like that type of person, larger than life, you know, and a natural leader, you know. So I learned a lot, you know, from her. And then she also was very kind of supportive of, you know, what I was doing.
You told her that you wanted to be a musician?
Yeah. And she was always kind of like encouraging me, but like what my father had told me was that education was very important.
Did your daddy support you as well?
My daddy supported in terms of, you can do whatever you want to do, but get educated. You know, make sure that my investment in schooling was worth it. So my dad wanted the best schools. So he made sure when it was services, we went to the best schools, you know what I mean? And then, you know, Tamale Secondary School, I was after common entrance, I had option of Internship and then Ghana and Tamale Secondary School. So I wanted to go to Internship, you know, but then my dad was like, no, you guys have lived here a little bit too long. You are losing your northern culture.
Go back.
Why
did you want to go to Internship?
Because, you know, I lived in Michelle Camp, and Internship for me kind of aligned with, I was just like, oh, Charlie, and they go, Kwabutri and those guys, and my dad called me to the room like, you know, no. You're going to you've also been accepted in Tamale Secondary School. It's closer to your ancestral village. You know, you go, all your uncles, everybody is there. My grandfather also had lived in Tamale. So I had my grandfather, my grandmother in Tamale, my ancestral home too was very close by. I just had family there, you know. So he was like, you need to go there because you need to also experience the North in a very strong way, so that your mindset is not only Southern Ghana, you know, although you're of Northern origin, you needed to be kind of educated about all of these in a real way, you know. So going to Tamale Secondary School was also what really changed a lot of my trajectory.
That was your up to Form 5, right?
Yeah.
What was that like? What was Tamale?
Tamale was the vibe, man. Tamale is the vibe, you know. Tamale, you know, there was a certain, I discovered, reggae music, I was inspired by reggae music in the barracks at first. But when I went to Tamale, then I went to a town when there was a lot of people who were into reggae music.
Yeah.
Whilst in the southern part, people were more into like the pop music. Tamale was reggae.
Why?
I had no idea. Like, they were listening to the Black Uhurus.
Yeah.
Stuff that you will find in the southern part, you find it in Tamale. And then Tamale also, at that time too, that was when Abedipele too had the height of Abedipele's popularity. Yes. Tamale was the center place, you know.
Footballer.
Excited, you know, real Tamale United was like on top. Abedipele was a huge star. Everybody, there was an excitement there, you know. And at that time too, you know, me as a student in school, you know, on weekends, we will escape and go to, there was this traditional music called Simpa.
Simpa.
And Simpa.
What does it sound like?
Simpa was kind of almost like a pop traditional music.
Fast?
It was fast, it was melodic, but it was groovy and it was communally based. But then they made makeshift like drums and instruments and stuff.
Was it vocal music, or it was like
vocal and groove?
Okay.
So it was kind of a takeoff of the traditional, you know, the traditional music.
Okay.
But then it was more like popular music that was created. So the young ladies would be there singing. There would be like groups, you know, like harmonies. And then a lot of times you heard Simpa to during late night, when everybody was sleeping, then you start hearing in different parts of Tamale, different Simpa groups.
Wow.
They will start off
playing.
So then we leave the barracks. We leave the campus.
These are unauthorized exits. Highly unauthorized.
Highly unauthorized. Charlie, I'm telling you.
Were you ever caught?
No, I was no, I was not caught. Charlie, we were our reconnaissance. I'm a military barracks boy now.
So you did your
we knew everything, you know. We had a strategy, we had execution, and we had extraction, all of that, you know, very well planned out, you know.
Yeah.
So Simpa was being kind of, and then I will go to our village too, and then the traditional boom boom,
Yes.
the traditional, the boom music, from the drumming to the traditional concomba music. This was all stuff too that I was, and the culture, because when I go home, I was like the chief's house. So I was like at the hub of where the culture was, so Northern region gave me that. And then, I met, some of my closest friends, who were also, one of them, John Duty, who right now, works with a very, very, very amazing big organization here in Ghana. He was like one of my closest friends, Gordon Larry. We were kind of the trinity of friends. And then that was when I actually started a kind of form of performance.
Okay, like a band or like a solo artist?
A solo kind of artist. But what we do is that we had this place, we had a compound in the school, in the rooms during the weekends. There would be tables, people would take boxes and stuff, and we'll start jamming and singing and making up music. So
what was your stage name then?
My stage name, everybody called me David at that time.
Okay.
David. That was
the name your father gave you, right?
The name my father gave me.
Yes.
I mean, it was Rocky was part of it. It was David Rocky. Nendo.
Rocky is actually your name.
Yeah,
it's not a nickname.
No, it's not a nickname.
Okay. Do you know why he called you Rocky?
Rocky's rock.
Okay.
Rock of Ages.
That's it.
Enduring.
Yes.
The rock upon which the church will be built.
One time.
Yes, you know what I mean. So it was kind of like the mindset of like the foundation.
I always thought Rocky was like a nickname.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then you have another name to Nendo.
Nendo, yeah.
What does Nendo mean?
Nendo is it's a traditional name that is given to almost like you find that in Dagbon.
Okay.
And you find that in Concombas, and you find that in the Nordic. It's a very common,
Nendo.
Very common name. Yeah, very common name that was given to like boys.
Okay.
So and then
so you're performing.
So yeah. So in the barracks, I say in the school, I mean, we made up music and we're performing, and then people will come, and so it was kind of like we were providing entertainment. So that was when I started kind of performance. And then when we moved, we had in the Tamasco we had the junior school and we had the senior school. So when we moved from the junior school to the senior school, I saw that my house where I was, it was not groovy enough. But my two friends, they lived in this traditional, there was one house called Weimar House, and it was compound houses, northern compound houses. So I love the compound houses. So I moved all my stuff from my house and moved into their compound.
Without any authorization?
Without any authorization. and then we started the jams there.
And you lived there?
And I lived there. And then my house prefect became angry.
Yeah, because why do you move?
Yeah. So he came with a bunch of macho men. They came, extracted me one time. I was punished for leaving, for moving without this thing. By the following night, when he went to bed,
back again.
My guys came, grabbed my stuff. We were back again. He woke up in the morning. I was
war games.
He did it like five times till he got tired of it, and then he just
let the guy go.
Yeah, I actually met him years later. He still has not forgiven me.
You give me headaches, man.
Yeah,
you give me headaches. They come, you extract, you go.
I go. He brings me. I'll come, and then they'll come and I'll be sleeping. They'll come. My bed is okay for like 1 or 2 nights. I just watch till, and then I knew that his attention will go onto something else. Immediately, his attention went. Nighttime, my friends will come from. They'll come and help me with my stuff. We go.
And the groove there, the vibe there was
So compound 4 was where the
action
was. So people would come to compound 4. We had friends who was lively. We were and Gordon was also a musician. So we were like, there was 2 of us, and then John was kind of like the one that glued everybody. He was kind of like he eventually like he's running a big company now. So he was like, the
managerial kind of
mindset and stuff. So we were kind of this knit, and the music naturally. So we got the opportunity because we were there, and Compound 4 was kind of its own kind of unique space. We nurtured that whole vibe.
What music were you playing?
I was making stuff up.
It wasn't just reggae? Was it reggae?
No, it was everything.
It was everything.
Everything. Okay. So stuff that we learn, we'll sing it. Reggae tracks that we like, we'll sing it. Stuff that we'll make up.
Okay, so you do covers and then your own songs.
And then we'll make up stuff.
Okay.
And then we do jams.
All right.
You know, so we're practicing, you know, our voices, we're practicing performance, we're practicing song making. And this was just stuff that we're doing to jam.
And you're teenagers back then.
We're teenagers, you know. So then after Form 5, when I was done with Tamale.
What was your selection for O levels? What subjects did you do? Were you a science student, business?
In
Tamale.
O level, I did economics and geography.
Okay.
Yeah, economics and geography. No. I took a what's it called, science in the
O level at Tamasco.
At O level.
Okay.
And then in the what's it called
sixth form.
Then I went and did economics, geography. Yeah.
All right.
So and then so I remember like growing up with, you know, math and stuff, you know, was part of the science classes and all of that kind of stuff, you know. So I had that academic dimension, you know, in addition
science,
to the music and also the culture of Tamale, reggae music. I remember Alpha Blondie. That was the early days of Alpha Blondie. You hear it on the radio everywhere you go. Brigadier Sabari was on the radio everywhere you turn. The Simpa bands were playing. You go and all the American pop during entertainment days. The American, so we were the guys during, you know, entertainment day. We dress our outfits. We go there. We're kind of in the corner, you know, kind of like the cool little crew there, you know, kind of. Cutting our, it was really an exciting,
very formative part of your life.
Yeah, very formative and exciting part of, you know, growing up. So that really infused me too with like a whole other new level of kind of musical sophistication.
How did you do in the O levels? What were your results like?
O level, I did very well. Yeah.
And then you qualified for sixth form?
Yeah.
Where did you go?
From New Jamming.
Back to the south.
Back to the south.
So primary school, south.
Yeah. I had done my
secondary school.
For my dad.
You done your 5 years.
Yeah. I told him, I just like, you know, and then by then my dad had moved from the barracks to Koforidua. He had left the army.
Okay.
So he moved to Koforidua. So my family was in Koforidua.
What was he doing after he left the army?
After he left the army, he was doing a lot of farming in the northern region.
Okay.
And then he had kind of bought land to what's it called? And then he also got hired by Cocoa Board. You know, at that time they were hired a lot of the soldiers because the soldiers used to go to Eastern region and all of that. So he was also hired, you know, Cocoa Board. So he worked at Cocoa Board. You know, he had his farm, he had his house, and then he moved his family there. And my mom wanted, you know, because my mom was also, you know, interested. She liked Koforidua. So Koforidua was kind of like a kind of a compromise between them. My dad at first was like, after the military, I want to move back to the north. You know, so my mom too had grown up in Brahafo and all of that. And then they all loved Koforidua. So eventually they were like, no, Koforidua is where we want the kids to go. So once they settled there and all of that, after sixth form my older brother went to SecTech.
Okay.
After
how many siblings do you have?
8.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, 7.
All guys?
Yeah, no, 7.
All guys?
No. 3 women.
4 guys.
4 guys.
Where are you in the ranking?
Second.
You're number 2.
Yeah, number 2.
Your brother is the chief now.
Yeah. That's the older brother.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he went to SecTech and then to Legon, and then after Form 5 came to New Jamming. So New Jamming was also kind of, you know, Cove Town. You know, Cove Town was also kind of one of the most vibey
jamming place.
Oh my God, you know, Cove Town was another angle too, because I loved the greenery of Cove Town. You know, Cove Town was kind of, so my connection to the forest, you know, we had like a farm where early mornings, you know, my dad would say, hey, you know, before you guys, you know, we should go to the farm. And I remember like mornings where I go and found like a hill full of mushrooms. Like at night, there's like snails, you know, everybody's walking with lights. You're just picking snails,
harvesting
and buckets
snails. Whoa.
And stuff, you know, like there was so much nature food, you know, and the culture there too was kind of laid back. You know, you had Eridec Hotel, you know, it was cool, but it was not too overcrowded. And it was a lot of very smart, you know, both from people who worked in the civil service. There was a big civil service community, you know, where we lived in Atechim, you know. And so these were like the people that were within my ecosystem. So even at that time, I remember our next door neighbor. I was telling the story. The next door neighbor in Koforidua was Dr. Olins Lindsay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's JL Properties?
Yeah, Geo Properties.
Yes, okay.
So James and
Head
I,
of Greta, the CEO.
yeah, we all grew up together. We were like,
Oh, okay.
So our mothers were friends and
Okay.
all of that. So Koforidua were friends.
Was he also musically inclined?
No, so me and him, we our two homes, our house was there, their house was there, and then we had this land that we both owned. They owned part of it, we owned this part of it. And me and him turned it into a cabbage farm.
Okay.
So we started because he was like the business. He wanted to do business, and I wanted to do music.
Okay.
So we were constantly like in the farm. We grew
cabbages.
stuff. We were
Cabbage.
What
do you know about cabbage farming that you can teach me?
Oh, I was so in Koforidua. My idea was that I wanted to make money to buy my own instruments.
Of course.
So I looked around. It's like, Charlie, nobody could buy it. So you start your own business. So then I started a cabbage farm. So I was growing, cabbage. I was growing carrots, lettuce, and James had his farm too. So and then we at some point we started supplying the Koforidua like.
No way.
Oh yeah.
You're a farmer, man.
Yeah. So we were interested, but his was towards his business thing. Mine was towards
your music, man.
Yeah.
So seed capital.
Exactly.
So did you achieve your aim? Did you get the money to buy your stuff?
Yeah, eventually I was able to use it for my demos.
Okay.
So by the time I came to Legon, those demos and that was
the fruits of the cabbage. Nice. So that's the backstory.
Charlie, that's the backstory. When I came that day, my eye read. I was like, Charlie, I've worked enough. I've raised money. I've made my demo and all of that. I've come to Accra now. Game on. I needed to meet people. I needed to connect with people who were gonna help me, like in terms of bringing that to life. So Koforidua, new job in the education, and then post new job in during the national service time too, and then also growing this garden and having all of these amazing friends that were all kind of planning on big ideas and
it kind of set you up for the future.
Yeah.
Where did you do your national service after A-level?
My national service was at a universal school.
Still in Koforidua?
Yeah, universal school in Koforidua. Yeah.
So you were a teacher?
I was a teacher.
What were you teaching?
I was teaching like general stuff, but the kids sang a lot.
They sang a heck of a lot.
Yeah, and they loved my class.
I was just going to ask you, what was your teaching style?
So I'll teach a little bit, and then we'll get into, I will find songs that they love, and then we all start singing.
Were you turning the lessons into music or what?
I was not turning the lesson, but I was adding musical interludes to it. And all of this. And then, even along the way, I learned that even Sarkodie was one of the students that had come through there, and all of that, That is kind of, it's
interesting.
Yeah. Because Sarkodie's dad was there. It was in Koforidua.
What do you miss about those teaching days, man?
Man, the teaching days, they were, for me, it taught me the whole thing of impartment of knowledge to the next generation, like the value of it. And then the amazing thing too, when you worked with young people, kids in school, and you are trying to bring knowledge and the exchange that goes on, after you bring the knowledge, after they comprehend, and then the feedback that you
give it back to you.
Then you also start seeing different dimensions of. So I understood the generational conversation when it came to knowledge base, that you should never think of yourself as the teacher. I always saw all of us as teachers.
Yes, because they can also teach you stuff.
They teach,
What did the children teach you?
The children taught me, first of all, humility, patience, and then also pure joy.
Pure joy.
Pure joy. When you taught them something and they got it, and there was kind of, you celebrated with them, there was this breakaway of energy that, and everybody gravitated towards me because my teaching angles were the way I taught was different. The headmistress loved me.
They loved it.
Yeah. Because like all the kids, everywhere I go, the kids will follow me.
What would they call you?
That kind of stuff. You say,
what would they call
Mr.
you?
Dawuni.
I like it. Mr. Dawuni.
Mr. Dawuni, yeah. Mr. Dawuni. I was like,
and the kids to call you that,
yeah. You know, because I was, but it was also kind of like how my natural instinct as to how to impart knowledge and teach, you know. So it also, the music was also part of that process. It also taught me that, hey, you come and with the music, like in the morning before even we start our class, if we sing together and we start the lesson, like all the kids are so like into the things that were being taught.
What kind of song would you sing in the beginning to start the lesson?
You know, like a lot of like the traditional, what's it called? Songs that they've been taught.
They
you
know.
know, they know.
Yeah.
So it was not like I was teaching them something that was outside. You know,
or like say anyone,
like those traditional songs and that kind of. So I would take like the traditional motif songs then I will. Well, but I was adding it to, you know, we come in the morning, we'll sing even certain praise songs.
Yes.
Awawa Dobi, like all of those kind of songs, praise songs.
Yes.
I will have the praise songs, we'll sing them, you know, prayer, you know, so you mix all of that and then traditional stuff and then they just, you know, it was a very, very inspiring time.
Can you imagine if all teachers took this approach of, you know, infusing some music into before you start? It would be great, huh?
I think it will be great. You know, I mean, for me, it just came naturally because I was looking for ways to connect.
Yeah.
And I saw that I could, you know, you could connect, you get the attention when there was a certain kind of kinship bond that you develop with them. And it was not about the teacher being on the pedestal, you know, and at certain points you were stern when they were like not listening and all rowdy and that kind of stuff. But then you left room where they were excited, always excited to be there. You know, so excited. So everything that you were teaching to everybody was kind of like, you know, kind of excited to be part of it and learn.
When Mr. Dawuni announced to the school that he was finishing national service, what was the reaction?
Oh my God, you know, it was not an easy thing for a lot of them. And I didn't even, it was something that I told the headmistress, and then it was kind of broken quietly to the children and all of that, because at that time I was, you know, I had qualified for Legon.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, I was still thinking of what I was going to do next, you know. So I was done with school. I was done with national service. Yeah. And I was like, now it's time for music.
So the kids were sad?
The kids were sad. Yeah.
Have you gone back to that school?
You know, I didn't go back but the headmistress, because I traveled, at that time I went to Legon. And after Legon, then I traveled to the US. Yeah. So there was a long period, a gap of time when I left Koforidua. And, you know, the next chapter was Legon and Accra. And then Los Angeles. Yeah. And
the
world.
And then back. Yeah, how about the other schools? Services, Damasco,
Services too, I haven't been back in a very long time. You know, because services, once I left Michelle Camp, Koforidua became like there's Damasco. I've been back. I see a lot of my Damasco mates. New Jabbing mates too. I see a lot of, because a lot of them were in Legon with me. You know,
those kids in services are going to be surprised to know that you went to that school.
Yeah. And then the Damasco students, so I meet a lot of them in Legon. So we are still
connected.
I'm still connected to a lot of them, you know. And then obviously New Jabbing too, all the people too that I grew up with New Jabbing, we're still connected, you know. So kind of, you know, Kof City is like my city.
Your place.
Yeah, my spot, you know. So all of these places became kind of part of the history of, you know, formulating me as a person, and then, you know, leading me all the way now to Legon.
Indeed.
You know.
Before we talk about Legon, I'm just curious, your parents, were they musical?
My mom was musical. My grandma was extremely musical. My family on my father's side too has had singers in there, because it was a chief's house.
Royal, you have praise singers.
Yeah. You had some of my uncles who were griots, you know, they sang and all of that, and they all had music, and they were all dancers. Because the traditional dance and music was all part of the the kind of being in the traditional home, expression of the culture. But then my grandma was a whole different thing altogether.
Mama's mom.
My mother's mother. My mother's mother was just a performer. She will go. So when my dad sent me to Tamale, on weekends I'll go spend when we were giving break from school, I'll go to my grandma's house.
Where did she live? Which part of?
She lived in a place called Kukuom.
Kukuom.
Yeah.
Okay. In Tamale.
In Tamale.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will go on a week, and then my grandma loved to cook, my favorite food, teasette and all of that kind of stuff. But whenever my grandma constantly singing, she's singing traditional music and dancing.
I want to hear some of that stuff, man.
Well, a lot of the Konkomba songs, I don't remember them to sing them. The traditional one, the one that she had sung, I was very little then, but she'll be like the one cutting stuff, and then she'll pause, and then she'll be dancing, and dancing, and then she'll
continue again.
Yeah, and put it in there, and then she'll be dancing, and then
while she's cooking.
That's my grandma.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, she was like full of life and music, a performer. And when she was in the kitchen cooking, she was constantly singing. Yeah.
Now people put the iPhone or the music on, but
I'm telling you, she was doing this like long time, So that, and then I would go there. I could understand that where the musical kind of impulse was coming, both on my father's side and then my mother's side, So it was fascinating.
I love it, man. Because all this is pointing to University of Ghana.
Yes.
Where a whole new chapter opens again.
Yes.
So you get to University of Ghana. What subjects did they give you to read?
Philosophy and psychology.
Okay. So mind subjects, man.
Mind subject.
Yeah.
So the University of Ghana too. So after New Jabe, after I'd left the national service, I was like done with education. I was ready for music, So I was like, I've saved some stuff. I've made a demo.
Yeah, man.
I make ready.
What songs were on that demo?
Some of the songs were like World Gone Crazy. Some of them were like the early forms of it.
Early types.
Yeah, early types were there. I had songs like Still Without, and I had written a whole album. You remember, you probably saw there was a white book that I had, Yofi. I sang street songs.
All your songs were there?
Yeah. So I had an album called Street Songs that I had written, a whole album.
You had a whole title for it already?
Whole title, the songs, the lyrics, and everything. And
the number, what the number?
The number, the everything, with the demo and everything.
Where did you record the demo, man?
The demo, the other time Koforidua, we didn't have that good of this thing. So it was some friends. We used like cassette against cassette.
Yes. So you record one track on a cassette. Then while it's playing,
we dub the other. So and then I had to, this friend of mine who up to now I owe her for the metal tapes that I bought from. She had the tapes brought to her, and then she gave them as a gift for my demo. Yes. That was her contribution to it. And I recorded the demo, and I mean, it was.
Ah, man! So that demo was ready. You come to University of Ghana.
I come to University of Ghana, but then University of Ghana. Interestingly, when I was accepted, I was hesitant to come because I felt that the more education that I got, the more sophisticated I became in my intellectual pursuit, the more diminished my
your craft,
my zeal for music and my passion for music would be. So I was afraid of that because I knew that after university, then you're going to look for some kind of job and stuff. And then once you get into a job, you're in an ecosystem, is done. So you either take a plunge into the music. So I drew the line there. But my older brother, who then was at Legon, he came and pleaded with me to come to Accra because it was in Accra that he felt that the music was happening, not in Koforidua. It's like, look at Koforidua, there's nothing, it's a sleepy town.
Come to Accra.
You have to come to Accra. You have to come and meet your heroes. You have to come and see proper studios where things are made, musicians, the ones that you adore. By then too, I was a big fan already of like people like Felix Bell, Ruth Anabo, Kojo Echi, Chikale, all of that and all the great things that were happening in Ghanaian music, from the A.B. Crensels to the all. So my brother was like, if you want to really meet these people,
Come to Accra.
come to Accra. So it's like, what other way to come to Accra than
Go to school.
Go to school.
Come to Accra via the school.
Via school. So he kind of made the case for me. So when I came to Legon, within a week, I met you.
Yep.
I met Yofi Brew. And then Local Crisis was, kind of started from that time.
What was the history behind the name of the band, Local Crisis?
The Local Crisis, it was during the time when the Gulf Crisis,
Yes, the first one.
where the first crisis were going on. And the thing was that, we too, as students at that time too, everybody was undergoing their own personal crisis, because once you've left the comfort of your home,
Yep.
and you are by yourself on campus, and now you are learning to live by yourself, make your own budgets, feed yourself, clothe yourself, wake up and be disciplined,
It's a crisis.
educate yourself. A lot of us were dealing with like a crisis of fitting in, So once the band was formulated, there was this whole kind of consensus about what name should we give, and we were like, the crisis are going on, the Gulf crisis is going on. Here we are to also creating music too that was inspired by reggae music, that was revolutionary music. So what of the local crisis? And then the whole thing was that the crisis is local, but the feeling is international.
So
because we felt that we're going to create music that was global from that time off, and it was great. I mean, I remember when I met you, Yofi Brew,
Michael Adeyobo.
Michael Adeyobo, who was kind of like, he was like the musical mega mind of, he could play every instrument, drum, and then Crow.
Yes, the drummer.
Yeah, the drummer. Yeah. and then our guitar,
Kofi
K. And then you see, so when I came, I had met Yofi and I showed Yofi street songs. And I sang some of the songs from street songs and then the demo and stuff. So Yofi is like, man, this thing is,
You gotta go.
Charlie, your voice and these songs are great. It's like, and then I was like, I want to meet your brother. I want to go and meet you. He's like, oh, make sure you meet Nat. And I was a big fan too, time of the Nacorex, Rexoma, and Akosua Japan, and then Nat Brew. And then also, importantly too, Rexoma at that time, because Rexoma kind of started fusing a type of reggae. It was doing like a Dua reggae, some way be.
Yes.
And that time, him and George Jara,
they were doing their thing.
It was kind of almost like the Alpha Blondie variant with this thing. And I was so in love with that stuff, and so for me, I was like, I was going to come to Accra, trying to really connect with these musicians and then be able to. So then too, right when Local Crisis was happening, the Roots and Abo too had come from Germany, and they had established a studio in Accra.
Yes. So
So I was somebody, one of my friends, kind of came and like, I'll take you to see Sam Inukwesi.
Yes.
Because these songs that you have, he needs to hear, and he's gonna help you and all of that. So when I went, but by then I had started working on new stuff.
Apart from street songs.
Yeah, apart from street songs was a done record. So I started like really working on stuff, and some of them like What Is Life?
Yes.
What Is Life, which we Local Crisis, which we played in Local Crisis, which ended up on a
one of your albums.
Movement, the first album.
So we were basically your guinea pigs, man. You're dropping your songs on us, and then willing guinea pigs.
No, but eventually, the thing was that we created certain songs uniquely, Local Crisis, and then some of them were stuff too that I had brought in and all of that. And then I continued to develop them, and then they made their way into the first album.
Yes,
and all
the Indana album.
The movement album. So when I came back, so the movement was when movement had Yofi. It was literally Local Crisis 2.0. Because you played on Ingana, you played on most of those early movement album, you played on movement, you played on Crusade too.
Exactly.
So I remember you recording what's it called? This song, This Is Reggae.
Yes.
You're like tracking in some Inukwesi studio.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like how the overlap between Local Crisis and then also me as an artist,
Yes.
like evolving Gordon Larry. Gordon Larry was involved in the first. Gordon Larry was hanging out with Local Crisis everywhere.
And he's your friend from Tamasco.
From my friend Tomas. So he was part of that compound for craziness.
And they came with you.
Yeah, they came with me. So when I came to Legon, they all came and they were staying. Gordon was staying. He would come and stay on campus with me.
Just like how you escaped from one house and went to another place.
Exactly.
He also came.
He
returned the favor.
Yeah.
What was your highlight of your University of Ghana days?
I think that it was the first show you see, I'll say two highlights. The first highlight was when we were asked to play the Sabah Hall week, which was the first time we had all played on stage.
Yes.
And it was kind of first time that we understood even being on stage and all of that kind of stuff, So that was like, for me, like, whoa, this was from Koforidua, wanting to be a musician, from all of that. This was real.
Your brother was right.
My brother was right. All of a sudden, I had met the musician. I was on stage.
Yes.
And then when Local Crisis played the Pan-African Festival.
Pafam 90.
Pafam 90,
Yes,
because it was one of the biggest shows that was happening in Ghana.
It was at Trade Fair.
At Trade Fair.
Yes.
And we went there and really killed the show.
Because we were not even on the bill.
We were on the bill. We went there, we snuck,
and we jumped
in, we snuck in, we convinced the guy on the day of the show that, hey, we are university students, we are from a band, and you needed to put us on stage. And he said, when everybody was done,
then we come.
You come. And we started playing and people came. And all of a sudden, I remember because at that time too, our heroes was Kente. So I remember that show right in the midst of when after we finished, people rushed the show.
Exactly.
And then I turned around and Freddie was there telling us how great we were. And I was just like, oh my God, this is the guys that we are
tracking.
Yeah, we are worshiping and want to be. But here he was like excited about the show that we did.
That was wonderful.
So those were like kind of things that were inspirational to me. And then obviously from there, starting to connect with Sami Nupese, and then, him starting to, try to teach me like in terms of reggae music, and getting to connect with, and at that time they had Zaya, like all of those concert people, the people who were the live show people started bringing Local Crisis into all their show, and then Local Crisis we were programmed to play with
Lucky Dube?
No, with Roots and Nabo
at the beach.
And I had never met Eko Savage. I've been like a big fan of Eko Savage. I remember that was the first time I saw him. So I was like sneaking, like going, and then he was setting up his drums and stuff, So I went and I was like, hello, to say, I'm like, are you Eko Savage? Like, I'm like, I love your music and all. But it is crazy because years later on tour in Germany, Eko was the drummer in my band.
Oh, wow.
And he was one of the people behind me. And that time, Eko, Emmanuel Komidoda, all the people from Vitamin X and that kind of stuff were the band that was supporting me, one of my earliest European, when I started getting into Europe and all of that kind of stuff. So there's like a continuity. But by then, I had like my albums had come out and I built a name and all of that. And then there was like the 360 of going to connect with the same
all these
people
guys who are your heroes.
Who are my heroes, who are supporting me now, try to help me like really break through in Europe.
It's so interesting, huh?
Yeah,
everything is like circular.
Circular.
You left University of Ghana early 90s.
Yes, right before graduation.
Okay.
My intention was to, because once Local Crisis, I always wanted to do the music first before the school. So even when I was in school, once Local Crisis started and we started getting a lot of popularity and all of that, I wanted to now learn more just the industry. And I also wanted to be exposed to a lot more because the Ghana scene at that time, we're playing kind of reggae form of that. It was a lot of times, was very limited in terms of what we could do and all of that. And I wanted to also record my first album, but I didn't have the resources. I had street songs was already done. I was writing the movement. I was now writing the movement album. But then there was no resources to do it, and an opportunity came for me to visit Los Angeles. So when I went to Los Angeles, I had the opportunity of also now starting to meet, going to like all the clubs, meeting all of like, there was a amazing music scene.
Would your career have changed if you had ended up in New York?
I don't think it would have changed, but I think the dynamics of the journey would have changed. But the beautiful thing about Los Angeles was that when I started kind of working there, I became, I had the opportunity of being an intern at a record label.
Okay.
So at that time too, I wanted to learn the record industry,
The business side of things.
the business side of things, how record industry, how promotion is done. So now, like the music thing, and another thing to just going back, whilst I was in Legon, whilst we're doing the local crisis time, we're getting all this attention. I was also trying to get a producer to produce my records, like so. You fund the ones that I've written. Most of the time, it was no. A lot of them, were like, say this Ghana dear. So what the tree?
They wanted you to sing tree because your lyrics were all English.
My lyrics were all English. You know what I mean?
The producers wanted you.
Yeah. And he said, "What the tree in it will be."
Put some tree in it.
Yeah. And I understood, like all of that because all the popular music was that time, And I remember, going to sit with, one of the memorable kind of meetings that I had when I was hustling. That was the meeting. I went to Balm Tavern to meet. Quantus.
Yes.
Because at that time Quantus was producing music. A lot of this, and so I went to him. And I was like, I'm a musician from Legon. I've written like 2 albums. I was looking for a producer to help me to do. I have a demo. I have all of that kind of stuff. First of all, very, very nice, welcoming. It's like, hey, get this young man some drink. Then we sat down, and he just loved my confidence. Yeah. So we sat down, and then he says like, let me listen. So he played, listen. It's like, nice voice. That's the first thing he said. It's like, nice voice. He says, I'd have to be honest with you. Like, I cannot help you right now, but let me tell you something. He says, what you need to do is that, your music, you need to, it's reggae and you're singing this, but you need to make sure that you are putting more of the traditional African vibes in there. And by then, obviously I'd learned all of that. That was part, that was kind of the mindset of this. But he also
kind of reinforced it.
That it's like, if you mix the way your voice is with that type of approach, it's like, you see how Salif Keita and all of those, he was give like those big African icons of that time when I was, it's like you see they mix Western pop, their traditional language and all of that kind of stuff, and then they create a bigger audience and stuff. So, you keep that in your mind, and all of that. But make sure that anytime you want to come here, let me know, come here, if you need any advice and all of that kind of stuff, I will give you the advice and stuff. So that also was a big inspiration for me. But then what that taught me was that I needed to learn now the business myself. I need to start my own label because the waiting for somebody who understood my music
may never happen.
It will never happen. So I needed to learn that. So when I went to the United States, one of the main things was being able to, not only, work, but also connect, plugging into the scene. Then I got the fortitude of being invited. At that time, there was a label called Delicious Vinyl. And Delicious Vinyl had big stars on it, and then too, obviously I traveled with my now wife, girlfriend at that time, back to the US. And then I connect, I got a call because they had signed a new artist from Trinidad. And they were like, okay, Trinidad, they needed somebody who had like a worldview and somebody who understood like global sounds to come and do college radio.
Okay.
So I went and tried for it, and then they were like, you're hired, you're going to be half an intern, half we employ you, but you're going to work. And that was Michelle Montano, who is like the king of soca now.
Okay.
So Michelle's first album, I was the intern that was doing college radio to try and break this. So
what is college radio? You put the
college
music.
radio is because America, you see, say, if you're breaking a record, there's different levels. Once the record is made, they first give it to college radio, which is radio. All the colleges around America have radio stations. Okay. So those radio stations, once the song starts tracking on college radio, then the label will take that as data to the commercial radio, the second level.
Okay.
You say, look, all the college, all those college kids
are listening to this
music. Listening to this.
So this is what
this is what is up. This is the next thing that is coming. You better catch it before. Then another radio. So they'll go to some of the markets, the biggest stations in the market. So if you know that it's tracking on college radio, you might take it to New York, Los Angeles, the key markets. So if you start getting spins on some like New York station, then they will take the data to the Los Angeles station. Look, New York is playing. So it was all like levels. The whole thing levels. So my job was to now go college radio, like all the music directors in the college radio, become friends with them, send the music to them, get them to playlist the music, call them weekly to see how the music is doing, what they thought about it, start writing reports on everything, where the music was charting, then start writing the chart report on all of them and then bringing them. And then there was a CMJ chart which was fed through by the college. So the collective college radio fed into CMJ chart. And CMJ chart was the industry all looked at the CMJ charts where they could see what was happening in the college radio. So you wanted to have enough kind of activity in the college radio so that you start charting on the CMJ, then everybody sees it. Then all of a sudden the song starts, kind of having its own legs.
It's a whole business.
It's a whole
formula.
Business and formula.
So you were learning. This is like a real world education.
Real world education.
How long were you on that beat?
On that, it was about a year.
Wow.
A year.
And you were still writing your songs and things at night?
I was still working on the songs. So I was working on the songs, saving money. So immediately I kind of finished I registered my company name, my label, Aquarian Records. I came, by then the songs were ready. Flew to Ghana, called Gordon, called everybody, Jackson, Dela, everybody. We rehearsed the Movement album and then we went to Ghana Films and recorded that with Mr. Kwachi. So that was the first thing. So by then, I had already learned and established the record label. So immediately the song, thing was done, I went to the college radio list that I had.
Yes.
So I had
You had the list.
I had yeah. College radio. I plugged the album into because I was the what's it called, the promotional guy.
Exactly.
That's what I went to go learn because everybody said we can't do it for you. So I'm going to I had to figure out the promotional aspect, all of those things.
Wow.
So plugged it in. And the interesting thing that happened that at that time too, one of the guys that, close friend of mine, when I was doing promotion, he was also the college radio promotions guy for Virgin.
Okay.
So he also had a label, a record label. And me and him worked on, because he loved the Michelle record and all of that kind of stuff and Virgin stuff. So he would send me like the new, at that time, Ziggy Marley and Co. were on Virgin.
Yes.
So, my friend would send me like the new records that they were working on because I was keen on every reggae thing that was in the majors. And then they had Steel Pulse too at that time, Virgin Atlantic and all of that. So when I came back, I sent him the tape randomly without telling him this. I say, I just came back from Ghana. I want you to listen to this tape. So then the following day, there was like a call, like calling. He's like, who the hell is that? I'm just like, I have a confession to make. That is my music. And it's like, what? That's your music? I'm like, it's like, as I just recorded, he's like, dude, this is amazing record. I'm like, yes. It's like, and you know what? It's like, we are just working on a compilation album with Steel Pulse, Burning Spear, all of these heroes.
Whoa.
That's going to come out on Atlantic Records, and it's called, it's like a reggae, the next generation album. And everybody loves What Goes Around. He said, I played it. He said, I played it for the team and they love it. So we want to license that for the compilation.
Whoa.
So the compilation comes out over there, What Goes Around, because What Goes Around, that time to Ghana, advertising cycle, the video
Metro TV.
on Metro TV, the video. So I had shot the video too in Los Angeles. After I come to, from there, come and record it here, go to America, try to push it into college radio and all of that. Got a license for one of the songs, filmed the video. I came back then, started pushing it in Ghana on radio and all of that. And advertising cycle picked the video for What Goes Around. Heavy D at that time was on Joy FM.
Yes.
And so Sugar on the album, the movement, Heavy D started blasting Sugar like every time on it. So then, What Goes Around became very popular in Ghana.
Want to tell a story.
Yes.
La, la, la,
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I can feel the wave of this philosophy. Yeah, the peace is not the end of war.
Yes.
Maybe we can rearrange. So
beautiful song.
So that was kind of what led. So post local crisis.
Yes.
Post the industrial rejection. And then
the internship.
And then the internship, going to America, learning, getting to work within the industry, learning that, starting the record label, putting out the first recording, and then, that was kind of the first, so the first recording obviously had a lot of the local crisis members. When I came back from it, so it was like, that's my crew, So Yofi, everybody. When I listen to the record right now, it's like Local Crisis version 2.0.
Man.
So the movement was kind of like the album that Local Crisis eventually would have made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So transitioning.
Exactly, So then it had songs like What Is Life, which was a Local Crisis staple. Yeah. Staple song that we played, which still is one of my favorites on that album because we played that song live so many times.
Yeah.
It
was in our
it was a very, very well realized, song. So then once that had happened, I was like, okay, now I had a platform. I had taken the first major step on being a musician, having my own label, having a record out, starting to understand the business and all of that, so the reggae magazines in the US and all of that kind of stuff started picking the record because once they started hearing the record and stuff, college radio started playing tracks from that, What Is Life and What Goes Around started getting like airplay on college radio. So the college radio, there was like all of the college radio started coming, and then there was like CMJ stuff started showing up.
Okay, all the stuff you learned.
So I learned was applying. Now they were, but I was doing the marketing and stuff because at that time I couldn't hire anybody for my label. It was me and Carrie.
Yeah,
she was helping and all, but she was also in school then. But I was like literally running the label. Because I had the expertise of that. So then this started going. So I was like, okay, now the record had gotten this traction. So I needed the follow-up record needed to be much more stronger. Yeah. So the follow-up record too, I was like, okay, I had to upgrade my sound, because the feedback I was getting also was that because I had recorded it here, and mix it here, it was great, but we didn't mix it like a reggae album as the Jamaicans will mix it. So you listen to how the Jamaicans will mix it, just like, okay, so what are the things that I needed to bring? But everybody loved the songs and the music and all of that. And then I had a compilation, so people knew who I was. So that set me up for the follow-up album, which was Crusade.
Yes.
And
that's where In Ghana is on.
That's where In Ghana is on.
That song is still big in Ghana.
It's everywhere.
What's the story behind that song?
In Ghana, was inspired by a deep sense of personal patriotism, a deep sense of really understanding myself as an individual and part of a nation, that this is a blessed nation, It's a nation that even back in the days when we had, what's it called, Europeans, first of all, come here, they were attracted to the Gold Coast. First of all, we're endowed with immense riches, gold, everywhere, gold, this country. And then at the same time, too, we're endowed with political resources, natural resources, our history. You see all the castles were heavily concentrated on, on our coastline. And then we were also the door of the slavery too. It was kind of one of the staging places too for that whole tragedy of our history. So the diaspora, the emergence of the African diaspora, Ghana was a key point of that part too, because many people were taken through the gates of Ghana. And then in addition to that too, we're the first to be independent. So the African, even the liberation movement, so I felt that there was a certain divine endowment for our country. And we as a people, sometimes, when you're giving a gift or you're given a certain blessing, it's very hard sometimes to recognize when you are in there. But I felt that if I could articulate that in a song and bring the joy of knowing that you are from this place and your responsibility is also to be a conduit for the liberation not only of Africa, but also the entire diaspora, and bring all our people together. It was a great calling. So in Ghana was, for me, if ever I was born at a time when independence was happening, that would be the song that I would have sung for Osadifo, for that, because it was a song about liberation, right on top of Mount Zion. With gladness, I wipe my tears. Lord, raise my flag, red, gold, and green, so I can sing a song for Africa with honesty in Ghana. Yeah. And the people should know. You go right to the east, spread out to the west, go right to the north, right back to the south. In Ghana. Jaja seals and signs and delivers. It's a divine kind of setup for us as a people.
Where did you write the song?
The song started, I wrote it here, but the melodies of the song started when it started from, I remember in the US, I was at a concert and I had left the concert and I was getting ready to come to Ghana. So
to be in Ghana.
Yeah, to come to be in Ghana. So I was excited, because I was coming home, and at that time, that was kind of, in Ghana was a late addition to the Crusade album. So, but it was quickly written. So when it came, I started writing the lyrics. Then I came back. And then at that time too, I was doing a lot of studies too into Pan-Africanism, the Gave movement and all of that kind of stuff, and also Sadifo Kwame Nkrumah, and my own political history of growing up in the barracks and stuff, and trying to see like what will be the song that will connect Ghana's kind of endowed divinity with the Bible, and then also the liberation of Africa. But in a song that is anthemic, enough to inspire that sense of patriotism. So the words were stuff that I was kind of interplaying with, the biblical phrases and all of that. And then when I came to Ghana to record the Crusade album, I had been recording the album, and then I decided that, okay, I'm going to record in Ghana as a single and release it before the album finishes, because the thing came quickly. So I remember coming down and thinking, you played on Ghana. Yes, you were there, Michael Adiobo, everybody was involved in it. And then I took it to Chasamwa, work with Chasamwa a bit on it, Sami Nupese, everybody. And then when it was done, I had, by then I had what's it called, And then when I finished, we went and tracked it all at Case Frequency.
Asalam.
Yeah.
KK.
So at KK Studio. So by then too, I had my own kind of mobile studio that I had brought with me. So I had ADAT system. So I had 2 ADAT. So I would go, because I wanted more tracks, I would go to places that had an ADAT and I'll set up my also 2 ADATs and I will run like all the ADATs, trying to really expand the track.
Yeah, there's some horn section and thing in it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is that in Ghana was recorded twice. So when we finished recording the first phase, I had tracked the vocals. We left that night. I took my ADAT systems and everything, unplugged it, and then we went to a bar close by to go and have lunch. When I came back, my car was broken into, and the ADAT system that I had in there, the ADAT system had been stolen from the car.
Whoa.
So the half of the sync for in Ghana was gone. So here I was like, oh my God, I'm trying to record this song and release it on Independence
Exactly.
Day. But the song was, in there.
Gone.
Yeah, it was gone. So we went into different studios, brought new ADAT systems, tried to recapture the thing, but the code and the sync will not work.
Will work. So
eventually I was like, I have to re-record this song again. So then we moved camp into Ghana Films. I was angry, I was frustrated, I was annoyed. At that time too, the economic situation in Ghana was kind of some, so the engineer was always saying, you see, the Ghana. Yeah. You see, they make song for Ghana now.
You see where they go on.
Yeah, you see where they go on. Your ADAT lost, everybody take all the happy for in Ghana here. I'm
some
like,
encouragement.
Wow, But like I was the rock,
yes.
Engineer Mr. Kwachi there, and then Zap Mallet came down for so recorded we tracked, but from the tracking, everybody felt it was a special song. Everybody felt it was a special because there was kind of a certain energy about it, and the lyrics and the music. So all the demo singings that I did, the rough singing that I was doing for this. So after we finished, they all looked at me and say, this song that you have to go there and sing it now.
Straight up.
You see, the thing you do for the song top, that's not it. So you have to go and sing the song.
That's it.
So I remember the tracking, we did it like it was late night, and everybody was in the studio. So I got in there, the track went, and I just poured my heart out. So it was a take, that was like a take from the beginning to the end.
No cut.
No cut. And I finished and I looked in the street and everybody was throwing
No, that song is spiritual, man.
Yeah.
Right from the first word.
Yeah.
The first word to the last.
Yes.
It's a spiritual song.
And we felt, and I just felt, and up till now when I listen, I was like, that is me communicating the love for my country, the love for Ghana's history, the trust and belief in the divinity and destiny of this country, try to capture it in a way I wish I had an answer.
What's the first line, man?
Time now for jubilation. Oh God, I wish I had an answer. 'Cause in sweet love, our spirits will know. We're sitting down to every rhythm. And then behind the wall, the smiling sunstorms. The people all know the reason why we still grow. So brothers be jamming.
We'll be jamming.
So be jamming.
We'll be jamming.
We'll be jamming till they're hiding. Oppressor man running.
We'll be jamming.
Whilst we jamming.
We'll be jamming.
We'll be jamming today. I say it's love from Rasta in Ghana. We're stopping all the suffering in Ghana. I'll say it's love for Africa in Ghana. Jaja seals and signs and delivers. Yes, he seals and signs and delivers.
One love. That's the song. Oh.
Yes,
You
yes,
sang it
yes.
from a place of real passion.
Yeah. And for me, sometimes I just sing the song to myself. You know what I mean? Just to reinvigorate and vim me up, you know.
This music has taken you all around the world.
Yes.
Is there any continent you are yet to play in?
You know, the thing is that when In Ghana came out, you know, I remember like waking up here in Accra one day, and when you turn it was like for the first week when it came, when you turn the dial on every radio station in Ghana here,
Echo.
in Ghana. You turn them, it was blazing every moment.
Man, everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it's our 6 March song. Every 6 March, you'll definitely hear it.
Yeah, every 6 March,
You'll go hear the
song was playing.
You'll hear the song.
And then in Ghana, so this was another twist too. Then Putumayo World Music, which was one of the biggest labels in the world, you know, and all of that. So they approached me immediately. The record was released. Because the record was released also. My friend who was at Virgin now has started his own label. So he came and said, you know, now I've started my label, so I'm gonna come and help you.
One time.
You know, so he's like, okay, why don't Aquarian partner with Who Done It, his label. Yeah. Who Done It, you know, it's like I do radio, you know, I was doing radio for Virgin Records, and so I can do like the record pools and all of that, the promotion, and I have that whole you know, kind of covered. So first of all, he said, go and make the record and let me hear. We did that before even the follow-up. So when he heard the record, you know, it was like, man, this record.
This is it.
So that was a collaboration with Aquarian. Now another label join me. So I had like now a bigger back end of support. So Charlie, radio, college, I mean, what's it called? Crusade was charting on every major reggae outlet and all of that kind of stuff.
Can you remember the first time you heard your music on the radio?
I think it was Sugar. Yeah.
Where were you?
I was right here. It was in Accra. It was on Joy FM.
Yes, Heavy D.
Heavy D.
Okay. In the morning, afternoon?
In the Heavy D. See, that time he was I remember it was a morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he dropped the song.
He dropped Sugar. Yeah. And I had never heard, you know, so ding chaka. I did the people they scream, they can't come here, they can't hear your music, the radio top people were just jumping. I was like, wow. And I was listening, just like, hey, yeah, they sound good. Oh.
Maybe that.
Yeah, maybe that. You know, after years of kind of all of this journey, all of a sudden you are hearing you from somewhere else being beamed back to you. You know, it's a surreal experience, you know, but I always felt like mentally I had been prepared for that reception, you know, and then now, you know, I was building my back end to support me because I was like independent musician mindset. You know, I was not going for some big record label. We're going to do this block by block everywhere. So that was kind of the methodology that we did, you know, and then all of a sudden I got invited to do Walmart, one of the Walmart tour myself, Ismail Isaacs from Cote d'Ivoire, and then Positive Black Soul from Senegal. So we had like a tour in Ghana. On what's it called? Putumayo's compilation, Reggae Around the World. So it was me, Majek Fashek, Burning Spear, it was the top of all the budding reggae. And then that album was huge. It just came out. That compilation album was huge.
Wow.
Putumayo album. So all of a sudden, everywhere, you know, in Ghana was bubbling. So then I get this tour. So my first tour, so I was, you know, now I was playing on the same bill with the Miriam Makibas, with the Femi Kutis and all of that kind of stuff. You know, Seattle, you know, Bamba Shoot Festival, all of that stuff. That was how we started.
That was your first tour?
My first tour.
In Seattle?
Yeah. Actually, my first concert was, oh, wow. It was a reggae festival.
In the States?
In the States, yeah.
In LA?
No, it wasn't in LA. It was, oh my God. I missed what's called, but it was that was my first reggae, but it was an isolated concert. That was like after the movement time. So I had like now festivals booking me.
They're calling you.
They were calling me. But then when the Crusade came, it changed everything. So Crusade then brought a tour. Or the tour that went through different like major cities. We played New York, we were in Seattle, we played Reggae on the River, we played, WOMAD Festival, Peter Gabriel's Festival, WOMAD Festival,
Nice.
Bumper Shoot.
Wow. First tour outside of America was where?
First tour
outside of America.
Outside of America, that's Europe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Germany?
Germany. I've done Germany circuit so many times. Germany, name the country in Europe. Have you played
Asia?
Asia, I played Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah, I played Indonesia.
What's that like?
Amazing. Man, Bali, the concert I did in Bali was like Balinese. You see, their food is like ours.
Yes.
They have like the rice, they have the cassava, they have everything, you see the sauce of Kuntumri all day there.
TZ did it.
TZ no day there. No reach there yet.
But the food is nice.
The food is great, but the Balinese are some of the most spiritual people. So when I went there, this festival, it's amazing festival there. But then even the prince, the traditional prince of the place, invited me to his house. And then I eventually ended up even filming a video, there, which was actually part of Hymns for the Rebels. So
yes.
Walk the Talk.
Yes.
I filmed it, and the prince even gave me his gamelan troupe to perform inside the video.
Whoa.
And then, I had like, it was a big welcome, there was a big welcome when they treated us amazingly right. I visited like a lot of the temples. I was attracted by their devotion to their faith. I always said that, the Balinese have walked in the doors of many religions, but I found the piety and dedication that the Balinese have was unrivaled, even in so many holy places that I've gone. The Balinese were so dedicated to God as they saw it, and in a way that it was infectious, that even when you get into Bali, you felt it in the air.
Very spiritual people.
Charlie, spiritual people at night when the temples and you heard all the gamelan start playing, all the incenses coming from the temples.
Wow.
There was a certain sense of connection to a divinity that was bigger than you, And so that for me was like a very big inspiration. And when I performed there, the concert there was actually amazing. You know what I mean? Bali was incredible.
South America?
South America.
Where have you played in South Africa? South America.
Brazil.
You played Brazil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, like not recently.
No, just recently.
In Bahia.
Bahia?
Yeah.
That's where you have the big African population.
It was crazy.
Yeah?
Yeah. Bahia was...
You recommend it?
Actually. And I filmed the video. My video for Shade Tree was actually filmed in Bahia.
Okay.
So Bahia was mega. And then the thing to be connecting with the culture there.
Yes, indeed.
And then, I played, Costa Rica too. I did a concert in Costa Rica. India, I played a lot in India.
Played in India. Which city?
India, Bangalore, Jaipur, Jodhpur. Even one of the concerts I did, the Maharaja himself came. Yeah, it was in his palace. The concert was a what's called? It's called Jodhpur Reef Festival. So I was one of the headlining acts there, and it was in a big mountain, like a huge castle. You don't even believe the castle, and the castle is where the concert was being held. And the castle has come through his family. It's one of the biggest homes when it comes to the world. Like when they talk of homes, if they are talking of homes in the world, it's like one of the biggest homes. And this was like incredible amphitheater and all of that.
What was the sound like, man? What was the sound like?
The sound was mega. You did the mountaintop, you see everything, and this is, I mean, it was magical.
It's crazy, yeah.
And then in the midst of my concert, there's like heavy security there, and all of that. So the kids was at the stage, I was singing and I saw commotion, like military people and all of that kind of stuff going on. And then also I saw like this guy who was coming like to the stage. So he was dancing.
Okay.
Then afterwards, it was I found that, they said it's the Maharaja. So himself.
Whoa, like the ruler of the place.
Yeah. He come to
vibe.
Yeah, he come to vibe. And then people were telling me, so, he doesn't dance. So I'm like, not to my music.
No, please.
Bumbo power right now in India.
Brave.
And then, I've done huge concerts, with Indian artist Ricky Cash, like orchestral concerts in different parts of big concerts. We've done like stadium stuff even there.
Oh wow!
And,
how about Africa, man?
Kenya.
You played Kenya.
Yeah. Kenya, Ethiopia. I played Ethiopia. Ivory Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, Ivory Coast. I did Afro musics in Ivory Coast. The place I've been played is Togo and let me see. And what other countries that I have in Nigeria?
Okay.
I played Nigeria.
Yeah. Okay. Middle East? Any Israel?
Middle East. I played Israel.
You played Israel?
I've toured Israel.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I toured Israel. I toured Israel a few times. Yeah.
What's it like being on tour?
Man, it depends on, the tours are different characters, like when certain tours are very easy and certain tours, like European tours are sometimes, you have festival dates and then the festival dates are your anchor dates. Then you stitch them to club dates and all. So in between each festival run, then you have like various runs of cities, hard ticket kind of stuff, then the festival. So that's how they book the ticket. So they will first book the anchor dates. That's how the booking agencies will do. And then once they do the anchor dates, then they will book the other one, then they stitch it into it. So you land there, and then you are in a bus, then you're going to city.
Boom. I'm wondering how many passports you've gone through.
You say?
Since you started your career. How many passports have you gone through, man?
Hey, Charlie, the passports there, I go through them. Like, they finish, but then you go through and then you go get another one. You know what I mean? Then you go forget.
I'd love to see the collection of the old ones, man.
The old ones, I don't think I even keep them. I mean, I'm sure they are in some
somewhere,
old
in some
bag
bag somewhere.
and stuff. But, I've never, but there's like a lot of, amazing, like playing, I was telling you that the first reggae artist to play in Greenland, and that was like an amazing
black man in Greenland.
Yeah, black man in Greenland, and like the concert, the whole like huge concert, you know what I mean? The whole people came to the airport to welcome us for the concert, and then playing, in for the Vatican,
Nice in the Vatican City.
Yeah, the journey of the itineraries of the Spirit. So the Vatican invited me to come and do a concert there.
Under which pope?
That was
the one who passed?
No,
before Francis. Ratzinger, the one who retired.
Yeah. The last end of it.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So I was invited to do a concert. So I brought a whole band. They brought all the
cardinals were there.
The people from the Catholic, a lot of the people from the Catholic world. Wow. So it was something. It was a festival called the Journey of the Itineraries of the Spirit. And it was the Catholic Church bringing, various people from different parts of the Catholic world and at the same time celebrating the diversity of. So I was called to headline to this.
Were you raised as a Catholic?
No, I was not. But
you had a
yeah. At some point in the barracks, we had a Catholic church and all of that. So I joined.
Okay.
I went for the catechism and all of that kind of stuff.
All right.
I never took a communion, but I bought my first Bible actually at the Catholic church
in the barracks.
Yeah, in the barracks. Yeah, we used to go to Tema, and I used to like it also because we get to the military truck will come and pick all the people who are going to the church in Tema.
Yes.
And it will drive us to Tema. So we get to leave and go there, and then it will pick us
and
up.
Bring you back.
And then when we were coming back, they will buy toffees for us. And so, Charlie,
it was a good experience.
It was a good experience.
I'm just wondering, when you're on the plane, what do you do? Do you write music?
I write a lot of times to the plane. You just read, or you watch movies.
Okay.
You know, but sometimes the quiet time. You know, when you are going, sometimes you try to, because I'm always very busy. So when it gets to that time, then you're
Downtime.
yeah, downtime, and then you move. Once you land, then you are
Then you're
like
gone. You're
action. You collect your mind, you organize yourself. So that's
I'm still curious. How does your music get into TV series, into EA, into video games? How does that work?
well, you know, the thing is that it started off with the sound. You see, I had released Crusade. Crusade was a successful album. It escorted me tours and everything. I released a follow-up, which was a reggae album to Awakening. Awakening did, you know, pretty well, but I was heading towards that sound, the Afro root sound, the sound that even Quantus had mentioned to me.
That fuse your traditional stuff with
Yeah,
what's going on.
you know. So I decided that I was going to do an album that was going to fuse reggae music with traditional music and Afro beats. And I knew that, you know, nobody had, I mean, people like Majek Fashet had experience with it, but I wanted to do it in a way where I was going to use like a traditional drum orchestra and all of that. So I came back here and literally I started working with Michael Colehouse, who had worked with Reggie and all. So I told Michael, okay, this is what I want to do. So that time we went, there was a drum troupe called Jembe. It was about 20, Jembe worked with Fela and all of that. So it was traditional group. So we brought Jembe into a house. It was actually Ricky Osei, Reggie's father's place.
Yes.
And we set them all in the living room and mic'd all of them to record that as the foundation for this album. So the album, then I brought Seprewa players.
African.
I brought Goje players for Wake the Town.
You just came home, really?
Yeah, I came home. So I was mixing Northern region, Northern music, drums,
music.
and then I was using the gourmet for the bass.
So Gan.
Yeah, the Gan.
Yeah.
And so when the song Wake the Town was created from literally 20 drummers, a horn section.
How many horns?
Oh, the horns were like, there were like 5 hornsmen, or say Tutu, Jackson, all the hornsmen that I could find here were hornsmen on the song. There was a what's it called, a Moro from the Frafras, what Atongo plays.
Yeah.
There was Moro, but it was this guy Baba Nokera who played the Moro on it, and then there was Goje.
Yes.
And then there was the gourmet for the bass.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was this epic song.
Almost like a movie sound, right?
like that kind of. So that was on the Book of Changes, which was the follow-up album. So I recorded that, and I recorded songs like Africa for Land, which was like really like Afro. This, and then I brought the drama from Steel Pulse to work with the Sonny Ade's drama. Fuse the two of them.
Crazy.
To create the drum, the groove section of it. So songs like Africa for Land, Afro Roots, and all of that were recorded. So this was my fusion of reggae and Afrobeat and Highlife. So I decided to go full on into and create an album like that. So songs like what's it called? You Are the One, which had Seprewa in it.
You are the one.
Yeah. So it's like, so I brought all the traditional Enyum Kro, whatever, all into this album.
All the stuff you've been exposed
into
to
this
since
record.
you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Book of Changes album, when it was released, the reggae fans who had been following me were waiting for the next big reggae album.
Sulia.
So even the reviews, a lot of people were like they were wondering why I had turned 360. And even an executive at that time, a music executive, told me, he's like, wow, you're so brave. He's like, you had just built this thing to a level that you needed a reggae. Then you just come with an album. But all of a sudden, the time Book of Changes was released. No, then the next thing I hear, I get call from EA.
The sports people.
They heard that sound.
The football game.
The football
EA
game.
Sports,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
EA. So they were doing a FIFA game and they heard the sound. They wanted to put the song on there. Then some of the songs I had a what's it called ER TV show.
The
Called-
hospital hot drama.
Yeah.
ER.
Wanted to use the song on there. So Book of Changes, all of a sudden, it didn't have like it was not the reggae fans that were following me were a little bit kind of, what is he
Confused,
doing?
yeah.
But then there was a huge embrace by American like alternative radio, like KCRW. It was like on Wake the Town was on KCRW. Actually, that's how EA heard it, because one of America's flagship radio stations started playing that song constantly. DJs like Got Trinidad and all of that, were playing it constantly, and everybody was like, "What is this sound?"
The sound confused them.
It was. I mean, the sound confused, but the song was like
It's massive.
It was like the million African march sound, the horns, the drums, 20 drummers.
Man. It's going to be massive.
Yeah, massive, and then the groove, ba-da-dum, bum, bum, jung, guju, 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 chaka, chugu, jung, chugu, chugu, chugu,
Charlie, big.
chaka, chugu, 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 chugu. It was like a reggae track, but African.
But it's Afro. Yeah.
So everybody was just, so it opened the way for
Is it
me.
da 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 da? Wake the
Wake up,
da,
wake up the town so we can shake it again.
Yes.
Yeah, and
It's a
became
big
one
song.
of my most
a big
popular
song.
songs
It's a
because
big
it was on TV, it was on video games and all of that. So Book of Changes now introduced me into that sphere of American public television, video game, and video game, how many people, millions of people
Yeah,
around
they
the
were
world.
watching.
All of a sudden,
Playing. Has
and-
it gone into film? Has your music gone into films?
yeah.
You got some films with your music in it.
Oh yeah. I mean, what's it called? Shine a Light was in even Ice Cube's film.
Really?
Yeah.
Fist Fight.
Fist Fight. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Shine a
All right.
Light is in there. It's been, I mean, I've had, my music is in Weeds.
Okay.
Yeah, the TV show
Mhm.
Weeds. So many. There's a lot of TV shows that are subsequent albums.
Yeah.
Like the full. So once that happened, then that set up for the next album. So the next album, I was like, I didn't want to alienate the reggae fans. So now I wanted to bring them, but at the same time, bring the Afro roots fans who have started following me from my new sound.
Shouldn't leave them.
Yeah, and I wanted an album that was perfect mix.
Yeah.
So that's what gave birth to Hymns for the Rebels,
Also.
which became literally my breakout album, because that one to Download the Revolution, what's it called? African Reggae Fever, where all Download the Revolution was on EA video games. African Reggae Fever was used for the World Cup, in South Africa, and then EA also used it for the World Cup video game. Yeah.
The Beatle.
Yeah.
And the video.
Yeah. So they were all like in TV games, in video games, and then it was nominated for NAACP Image Awards for Best World Music Album. So, Hymns for the Rebel Soul. And then eventually it's also recently, Songlines also said that it's one of the top 10 essential reggae albums of all time. So for a kid from Ghana who had that, and then even in addition is the song, what's it called? Walls Tumbling Down, which was quoted and used by the Prime Minister of Barbados for her speech to the world leaders at the United Nations.
I heard that.
Yeah.
We felt so proud, man.
Yeah, so it all came from this album.
Yes.
The Hymns for the Rebel Soul so that's how it's set up before the Grammys and all of that kind of. So most people don't know that this was all the activity that had happened around it. And then that time too, there was like touring, there was all of the stuff that was going on.
It's a busy life.
Busy life, like pushing the music and expanding the realms of the music.
I won't be surprised if a fifth nomination for the Grammys comes up again. I won't be surprised.
Well, we're always holding we have some great music and some great ones coming out, so
Who knows?
who knows? Who knows?
It be
It
so.
will be blowing in the atmosphere.
One time. Listen, talking of new songs, you have a new one that came out not too long ago.
I got a song
with the daughter of the late great Robert Nesta Marley.
Yes.
So Sedela, you and Sedela Marley.
Yes, Sedela Marley.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's I got a song. It's like I mean, it just came out, and I mean, the reception has been amazing.
How did you link up with her?
Well, I've known the family over the years.
Okay.
You know, I've met Sedela, so in a lot of times.
Ziggy, all those guys, you know them.
Yes.
Okay.
Met Ziggy. I've
Stephen,
I've
all of
been
the guys.
to their homes, and their Stephen, and Julian, and Rita. I've been good friends with Mama Rita too for a long time, and the thing was that when this song, I had started working on it in Australia. I was on tour in Australia, and I had been invited by some Aboriginal elders because of my traditional indigenous connection. So they also wanted to connect me to this Mungo man, which is like the oldest kind of remains of a person
Who had lived
who had lived in Australia. Mm-hmm. So it was exhumed, and the family that was kind of in charge of it, I connected with them. So I went on a tour, and I was moving with a lot of these people. So we're very kind of connected to the indigenous culture there. So I got to know of song lines, the Aborigine kind of philosophy of, embedding kind of codes of living, spirituality, geography,
the music, right?
connection into music.
Mm-hmm.
So music was playing a big part. So if you know the song, let's say you come to Eburi, and you know the Eburi song. If you sing, you know where the roads are, where the food is, where the mountains are, where everything. So they use song, and they were the song lines. So you knew the songs.
It's like a cultural GPS.
Cultural GPS. Perfectly said. A cultural GPS. And so generations learn the song. And if you know the song, you can be able to...
You'll never be lost.
Yeah, you'll never be lost.
Mm-hmm.
So when I learned that, it also dawned on me the power of music. Sometimes we don't understand the power of music. The music moves us, but we don't even know which area the power is moving at. We just know that we are reacting to it. And I know that music has brought people together. Music has brought joy. And in African culture, too, music is everywhere. But that also dawned on me the trans-cultural, trans-boundary connection, intergenerational value of music. So I started writing a song called I Got a Song. Like almost my Eureka movement,
Mm-hmm.
I got a song. And this is like a magic song. It's a song to inspire generations, a song to bring joy and love to people, a song to bring humanity together. So after I finished, after we tracked it in LA, I was listening and I was like, okay, this song requires, there's also need a yin and a yang. You have to, if you want to put out a universal message, it will be beautiful if you have the perspective of, a woman singer, a female singer. But obviously, I've also been a big fan of the Melody Makers from a long time, the Mali family.
Great music. And
Sedela has not done a lot, you know what I mean, in terms of she's been, having, I was like, oh, I hope that she likes, because I felt that anytime I saw the Melody Makers, that was like one of my favorite parts was like Sedela, Sharon, like their part singing with their brothers. I mean, they were like the show, it's like seriously, so I approached her and said, because I could hear her on there, and also being the firstborn daughter of Bob and Rita Marley, I felt that it would be ideal too, in terms of this song, intergenerational connection of this song too, by connecting with the women, the matriarchs of the family. And she took the song and put in the magic there. You know what I mean? And then this song, all of a sudden, it found its completion, as I feel like it's a song too that it's the song lines of the current era to bring joy and hope and harmony and unity, but not only for this generation, but something that will be passed on every generation. And everywhere you sing that song,
I got a song.
I got a song. You'll find your own song
in that song.
in that spot and in that place.
I love that. I love the song, by the way. Beautiful. Just heard it today. I loved it. Let's talk about another song that you did. Alaji K. Frimpong, what does that mean to you?
Oh, oh my God. Because Chenchembiedimiu, for me, it's one of my favorite Highlife songs. And then traveling around, like now that I had opportunity of traveling, so I will be going to clubs, I'll be hearing different bands playing. And then I started hearing a lot of young American groups and European bands, jazz bands. They will be playing their song and then they will throw a Highlife song and it will be Chenchembiedimiu. Like like it's found such a popularity among all of, but places where you imagine Highlife being.
Where was the strangest place you heard that song, man?
I heard it actually at the grand performances.
Okay.
There was a band that was playing it in grand performances in Los Angeles. Okay. And then I eventually headlined Blackwell actually the following year. And then I came and played Chenchembiedimiu.
That's it.
But I had like a band playing it there and I was just like, oh my God, this is my favorite song. And at that time too, I was getting ready for a new album. And a friend of mine who owned, Village Studios. Village Studios is one of the best studios in the world. That was where Thriller was recorded. That was, Michael Jackson Thriller. That was where Dr. Dre's The Chronics, every major album that you heard was recorded inside the Village Studio. Fleetwood Mac, all of them albums was this thing. So he gifted me 2 days.
Nice.
2 days in the studio.
If you had to pay for those 2 days, how much, man?
Charlie, each day in that studio, you're talking, I wouldn't even say $5,000, $6,000 a day. I mean, this is
major league.
Major league. And the studio where Fleetwood Mac's studio was the one he gave me. So at that time too, I was just like, oh my God, what do I want? And then I was just like, you know what? I've never heard Highlife music being recorded in a studio like this.
Gosh, let's go.
So I was like, and I had just heard Chenchembiedimiu. I was like, wow, this would be a good is to pay homage to Alaji K. Frimpong by remaking this song. And Alaji K. Frimpong's Highlife was different because he was also mixing Cuban music into the Cuban style, into his music.
Is he the same guy that...
No, that's the same song.
Guy. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's the same song.
Yeah.
It sounds like two different things.
Yeah. But the thing
Rockstone also worked on it.
You say?
Reggie Rockstone also did something on this.
On the same rhythm.
Same rhythm.
Same rhythm. So that shows you how the enduring power of that rhythm. But then his band was called the Cubanos.
Oh, nice.
So he was trying to bring like Cuban music to mix with Highlife.
Yes.
So now that I've been gifted the studio, I was just like, so I brought musicians from around the world. The horns players were from Cuba, Brazil.
Wow.
So I brought an international cast of musicians to reinterpret this Highlife.
And you were repping Ghana?
And I was repping Ghana.
Nice. And was there any rapper on it?
No, after we finished, then I sent it to Sarkodie.
What was the reason for that selection?
After I had finished, I loved Reggie's version anyway. You know what I mean? And I know that a lot of rappers had worked on it. So me as a singer, I haven't seen a lot of singers redo it. So I was like, me as a singer, many people have not heard me sing in Tree. So once I redid it with like this sound, like the sound was so big and mega, and to hear Highlife music inside that studio recording, I was like, okay. But then, Sark and I too had been in touch, and Sark and friends and all of that.
Was it not in your school? Many years ago.
After the school time, So I was like, man, it would be good to also pay homage to Ghanaian hip hop, hip life, by merging, and pay homage to Reggie Rockstone's usage of the same track, and then also other people have used it. But now that I'm remaking and singing it, I want to work with like a hip life artist too that was representing the current generation. You know what I mean? So, and I've been a fan of sax music, so I sent in the message, that time to Mama Cynthia. I was working also with Mama Cynthia, who was a attorney doing some works with me, and then also working with Shaq at the same time. So she was like, Kafui Dey.
So you sent it?
Sent it.
And
like,
it drops
literally 24 hours, like, it was, she's like, I'm sending it to Shaq. Within like a short period of time, like done. He sent me the thing, I could not believe what I was hearing.
Took the song to a new level, man.
I'm like, oh my God, man. No, that's his strength, that's his magic. So then brought this into to reimagine the song, recorded in one of the best studios in the world, brought musicians from all around the world. The vision that he had, because he wanted the Cubanos. But he didn't get opportunity to get the Cubanos band. Me, you made it happen for them. I made the Cubanos all come inside and then created this thing as a testament for the enduring power of Highlife, and also as my contribution to honor legends who have carried this music and made it popular around the world.
And still on the subject of legends, Wiyala.
Yes.
Tell me about that. You did something with her?
Yeah, I did a Sunshine Day. So it was.
Was it besides Sunshine Day?
Sunshine Day.
Everybody
is part of, and I've known, Mark Tonto has been a mentor to me for a long time. Like growing up here, Mark would come. Mark loved what I was doing, so he would come to my house, when I lived in Dansuman and all of that. We did a concert that we had a band even in my living room. We'll be rehearsing, Mark ideas every time, inspiration to me. And then, Uncle Teddy too was, another mentor, father figure of mine. Teddy Osei. So I'll call, every time I see Teddy Osei, like this were people who were inspiring me. So when I was doing that record too, I was like, oh man, I want to pay homage to, so after I'd done the Highlife one, I was like, let me pay homage to the Afro pop.
Oh, so Sunshine Day was also recorded in the same studio?
It was recorded in the same studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But the thing was that it was the recording style, Sunshine Day, the recording for that, and then what's it called? Wickedest Sound were all recorded in village studios. And then I brought it, and then I started doing the features.
Yes. Okay.
So that one too, I wanted to feature. Yeah. So everybody was like, Rocky, you have to do featuring, but I didn't want to feature foreign artists. No. I wanted to work with. So Sunshine Day was with Wiyala.
Yes.
And then Wickedest Sound was with Stoneboy.
Exactly.
So that album was like my thing of connecting with.
Reach back to the next generation.
Exactly. Reach back then into this kind of.
Is that Beats of Zion?
Beats of Zion album.
Right.
So it was an exciting, that project was really, really exciting because I had the opportunity of doing all of this, and then I wanted to also pay homage to my country, the legends, at the same time to, the artists that I felt were also working diligently,
working hard
to also project Ghana in their own way. Yes.
I can't end this conversation without talking about your activism. Because you're an activist as well.
Yes.
What are the causes that are so dear to you, and how is that going?
Well, the thing is that over the years, as my music rose to, there was a lot of, I had always said that I believe that when you are given the platform of musical expression, it's a gift from God. And your legacy is about how you're able to leverage that opportunity, that spotlight, that limelight for real world social impact. So if you are able to create that type of thing and divert it, it also enhances your legacy and its impact. So activism has always been part of my music. So the music later on became the activism gave me the inspiration and also validated the lyrics of me pushing for a world of harmony and unity. How am I doing it on the ground? So in terms of working in areas of women empowerment.
Which one came first? Which was the first ambassador?
They were both together.
Okay, but which was the first
the ambassador,
formal ambassador?
No, ambassador. The first one was, I was actually invited by when Bono established Red.
Bono of YouTube.
YouTube, when established Red. By then, I had done collaborations with UNICEF, I'd done collaborations with Carter Center, so my name had started moving in the activism world. And then when they established Red, I was called on to be one of the ambassadors. And then also one of the first trips that Red did, Red gave Ghana AIDS Commission about $7 million, which was, because whilst I was there, like lobbying. So I came to Ghana with Elle McPherson, the model,
yes,
to come as an emissary of this thing to hand that grant
yes.
to the Ghana AIDS Commission. So this was some of the things too that I was doing through my influence, pushing for all of that, And then I have, worked on guinea worm eradication. I was very involved in the guinea worm eradication thing that happened in the north. I worked with the Carter Center. That was when I brought artists from Samini to all of them to the north,
yes,
to travel around and work with villages and, advocate for clean water initiatives. I've worked for, peace initiatives in Rwanda. I was invited in Rwanda to work with the National Genocide Organization there to go and work with communities that are being impacted by genocide and all of that. I was very involved in all of that. I was also invited as one of the leading musical voices when Kenya had the political crisis between Raila Odinga and then Kenyatta. When the first breakdown came, I went there to go and work with Red Cross and also work with all of the musical leaders there in Kibera, the ghettos, and also with all the community leaders to forge a peace building platform for the next election that they were hoping will resolve the issue. So this was a country that was divided and all of that. So I was on the ground there working on peace building initiatives. So I've traveled, I've worked in Middle East. For my concert that I went to do, my trip was also, when I toured Israel at that time, was focused on bringing Palestinian and Israeli musicians, working together with Palestinian and Israeli musicians to also amplify peace and that kind of stuff. So my activism work has also led me to so many of those dimensions, and I feel that, the work informs the lyrics for my music, because I always felt that if I stand on stage and I talk about peace in the world, saving the world, and I haven't done the real work on the ground to bring peace and also be an advocate for peace building and community building, then I have not transformed my words into real world action. And I believe that, because when I do that, then the words will now resonate with more power and truth and honesty, because it's backed by real intentions and honesty, So, and then, the opportunity to also, meet a lot of my icons, during my musical journey, Who
was the first one you met?
Oh, the first one.
Many icons.
There are two of them that were before even the ones that Stevie Wonder was one of my biggest icons, and then Prince.
Prince?
Yes.
Rogers Nelson?
Yes. Prince, yes.
Oh, you met Prince?
Yes.
What was that like?
So this is a part that I haven't even talked about. So when I had all of this success in Edison, I was having a problem with booking agencies and booking in America. So
they didn't want to book you?
No, they were booking me, but I needed like high-end booking agencies. You had booking, but you wanted to be on even the bigger
A-list.
Yeah, the A-list kind of bigger things. So the thing was that I needed to build my capacity in America. So Los Angeles became the hub for me. So we established a club night there called Afro Funky. And Afro Funky was a night to bring African culture to this thing. And the stage was for African music, the DJ. So
it's still happening?
Now Afro Funky is a festival. So we do it in collaboration with So the next one is coming up in Los Angeles.
I used to get the alerts.
Yeah. I'm going to Los Angeles. I'm hosting it this time. I'm not playing.
All right.
Last year when we did it at a City Hall of Los Angeles. So so now it's moved from a club and it's a festival.
Now.
Yeah.
Good job.
So So when it started, it was a club. And then I will host the club. So every top African artist who was coming to America, from Femi Kuti to, you can't even imagine, everybody. And I've had even Jacob Bilamte, when he was the cultural minister, he came to visit me there. Sarkodie has been there. What's it called? What's it called? Abodam. Kwakese has been there. Kwakese even played on some of the stages there and all of that. So I've had people come there over the years because it was the hub. And then all the celebrities were coming there, because what I was doing is I was doing occasional concerts. And all the concerts were sold out. So I was building my capacity on the ground too, because so the booking agencies now started seeing me building my following over there, because every time I do a concert, it was sold out, lines around the corner. So that was also my whole thing of figuring out, like when I was, they said you couldn't do it, I established my record label. When they said, hey, you know, this market is very hard for you, you needed to have a place, and every club is difficult, I established my own club.
Finish. Independence.
Independent.
Now.
Yes.
Not in the
now. No, not tomorrow.
now.
And I started playing. So my stature also started rising in Los Angeles in a big way. Los Angeles Times would do covers, all of that kind of stuff. You know, Afro Funky was on every major. Los Angeles was also the heart of what's it called? Hollywood. All the major labels were doing their record release parties there. Celebrities, everybody was there. So one night, and then I did a concert. When I launched Book of Changes, the concert for Book of Changes was there. And that concert was sold out. And that night, I was there when I heard a call. They called Kerry and they said, Mr. Stevie Wonder is coming, is in the house. And he says that anytime you want him to join you on stage, so this is the middle of the concert, anytime you want to join me, he will want to come on stage. Then I announced, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. Stevie Wonder.
Cool.
Then Stevie came on, and it was Wake the Town.
Hey!
So we did Wake the Town. We did an epic version of it. It's about 14 minutes with Stevie playing his harmonica and singing Wake the Town. And this concert was sold out. People were on their phones calling. The whole of Los Angeles was descending on this. It was already sold out a long time.
More people were coming.
More people were coming. So this was what I was causing in Los Angeles. I was creating this whole thing. So one night I get a call and they said, Prince is coming to the club.
1999.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That Prince.
Prince wants to meet you.
Oh, nice.
At first, when they said Prince, I was just like, what kind of Prince? And who that? I thought it was, one of my African brothers, many of them, when they travel with they are princes. Yeah, they are princes and queens.
So what tribe? Where can Prince
be that? So then we're there, and at that time, my manager too, he had worked with, he was like also one of the top designers for albums for labels. So it's a big Prince fan. So I called my manager and said, Prince, got a call that Prince was coming to see me at the club. So maybe you should come tonight. And it's like, really, Prince? I'm just like, yes. So that night, that was another heavy night.
You announced again?
So, no, I did this one because it was a private thing that was coming.
So you know the camp jam.
Yeah. So we're there, then the security guys came in and I saw everybody in the club. He started walking through with the security and everybody in the club was like freaking out.
I don't know if he believes it.
Yeah, I don't know if he believed. So then he came and I brought him to the back room where I was, So then we cleared the room, everybody. So there was like the security guys did the back, nobody could enter. So we did there. We come with Charlie. He's he has heard people have been telling him about my music and what I've been doing in Los Angeles. And literally when he hears somebody's name in his environment 3 times,
then he knows that something's happening.
Yeah, he has to go. He has to go and meet the person. Humble like that. And then I started talking to him about Ghana, and he's like, so what is Ghana like? I'm like telling him about Ghana and Africa and all of that kind of stuff. And then we started talking about music, the state of music, politics, religion. Started talking about God. A lot of the conversation was about God.
What's he like? What's Prince like? What was he like?
Prince is one of the most brilliant minds I've ever sat across and conversed with. Very thoughtful and deep. And at that time too, he's found his spiritual calling too.
Was that when he was a symbol?
That was the late,
Yes, yeah.
that was the later part of it. He was a symbol, but he was also, he's found his Jehovah Witness faith and all of that kind of stuff. He was still Prince. Whatever he's doing is just, but he was also into like the spiritual, like my music and the spirituality of the music and all of that stuff. And so we talked a lot about musicians and God and using we as musicians seeing ourselves as conduits of the divine word, and then also when you're on stage, being able to share that energy. But his whole thing was about, like as a musician, you have to know who you are serving. You say you are, energy, music is energy. So you have to really understand who your music you are serving and be clear on that this is music you are using to serve God and all of that kind of stuff. It has to be in your consciousness. And he even told me his spiritual journey as to how he came to that, like through the fame and the glory that he had really everywhere. And then I'd reached at some point, he felt the need for that connection. He felt the thirst for that. And that's when he started also searching. And then when he kind of found the spiritual calling that resonated with him, it made him feel kind of, even steeped in his mission as to what was the next step of it. So it was a very intellectual,
very deep conversation.
Spiritual conversation. And then,
for how long?
Oh man. So we were there, and by the time we left, it was morning. The club was closed.
Hey.
Everybody, they'd waited for us outside. People had left. We were there. We came out. It was like morning.
Bodyguards were still there on duty.
We were on duty. So then he goes, and then a few months later, then he called me that he was doing some big event at his house. So what he was doing was that he was travel to different places, and then he will have a house there, and then he will sometimes have events there. So he invited me there. So when we came, immediately I showed up there. He invited me. We went into a back room.
Just like you.
Yeah, just like me. We went to the back room, and then we started talking, intellectual conversations about God and Africa and all of that, And then the third time again, he invited me he was doing an event, and he had invited only about 15 people to this place that was like up in the mountains in Los Angeles, Mulholland, this road. That call, even I got out, the call came around 1 a.m. My phone ringing. It's like, what are you doing? Like just at home. Is like, can you be able to come over? I'm going to send you the address. I'm going to bring a few people together. We're going to do a special night. And so about 15 people at his house, this amazing space, full on stage with Prince. And he did a full-on concert. There was a full kitchen making food for about 15 people.
Wow.
He did covers of many artists, Michael Jackson, everything, and then played his own set.
You guys had a private concert?
Private concert.
How did it hit you when he passed?
When he passed, I was surprised at the narrative of when he passed. When all the things about him, they were like, oh, he was addicted to certain things and all of that kind of stuff. And that was the kind of news that was trending. I was just like, that wasn't the man that I met. The man that I met was clearer than anything that I knew. The man that I met was one of the smartest, brilliant musicians. The man that I met was like, had God's spirit all in him. The man that I met was a visionary, So, although everybody was listening to that, but that was not the kind of prince that I met and got the opportunity of connecting with, got the opportunity of inspiring with, got the opportunity of spending some very private time together with him, And so for me as a musician too, that was like a big inspiration. Say, I've been doing this music, and then these legends, are all kind of, gravitating and paying attention to the works that I'm doing. And as an African independent musician who has been going brick by brick and building up for them, it was an inspirational kind of moment, things that I cherish right now. It's like some of the things that I say that, you might achieve so many things, but there are moments that your journey and your art and the music has taken you to so many doors, and you've met so many people, you played for in hallowed places. You've met so many incredible world leaders, presidents through my UN work, sat in the room with the leaders of the world, and I give thanks for that journey, and that journey that I'm still on in a big way.
The geography is working.
The geography is working.
Man, I've loved this chat.
I tell you.
Keep doing your thing.
I'm telling you. What's next is the new album is coming.
Okay. Do you have a title for it already?
Not.
Or it's under wraps.
It's under wraps. We'll unveil the title next year.
Okay.
So it will come out. So I got a song. It's actually an advanced single. So we put in that, and then another single is going to come out, and then the album is going to drop next year. But right now it's about, I got a song, with Cedella Marley, and, go check it out. It's boom for the world.
That's our 4-time Grammy-nominated Ghanaian musician representing Africa and Afro roots activist as well, Rocky Dawuni. And I've enjoyed that conversation. If you did, please like, subscribe, share. Let's get the algorithm on our side so we can get you more stimulating conversations like this one. We recorded this in the Cactus Creek Hotel in Iburi. Check it out. Have a great time. My name is Kafui Dey. God bless.
Is it the luxurious rooms? Or the serene green surroundings? Is it the tempting swimming pool? Or the classy conference room? Or the cute gift shop? Maybe it's our chef's array of cooking delights. Whichever way, it's all about Cactus Creek. A most respected hotel. 055 039 5007.